Welcome to Paranormal Heart Podcast with host Kat Ward.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Hi, and thank you all for joining us today. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network.
The Church of Mavis Radio Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m., 7 Central, starring Jeffrey Pritchett with his co-hosts Wham and Jay McNicholas, right here on the United Paranormal Radio Network, UPRN 107.7 FM, New Orleans.
Whoa, it's New Orleans. Is that where we are? No, I don't think we're there.
That's where I am. She heard my voice on the promo, and she's like, "You're in the little box."
What was that? What was that, Jessica? Oh, what do you mean? No, we're not done. We just stopped for a second. Well, sometimes we interrupt the promos. It just happens. Yes, it does. Well, no, we do about with the song probably 7 or 8 minutes now, maybe 9 minutes. In the old days, it was 10 minutes. We're going to go back to that. I'm doing my shows first, and the shows like with Jay hosts with me and some of the other guys host with me. We're doing all of those first. What do you mean? I can't call them my shows. Jay hosts with me. I founded the show, but Jay hosts with me now, so it's not my show anymore. What's our show? I don't know where Leah is. Don't even get me started, Leah. I don't know where she's at. Probably being probed by an extraterrestrial somewhere. I'm not sure. You know, I've seen a picture of her boyfriend. He does kind of look like an extraterrestrial. He does. Mm-hmm. You know, he's
6
got
fingers,
that kind of,
6 toes.
Yeah, kind of skinny guy. You know, kind of looks like. You know, he scares me a little bit. You know. Anyway. No, she's not Leah. Listen, I can tell. No, honestly, I don't know where she is, but hopefully she will join us shortly and hang out with us.
She could be working. She does have a new job.
Jeremy, how do we look? We look good? I look good on Roku. Yes, I do, baby. You like this beard, yeah? You like it this color? You like it a little darker, a little lighter? More salt and peppery?
Hey, Michelle's here.
Uh-oh. We don't know who this lady is. We just seen Michelle DeRoche pop into the audience. But anyway, no, we still got 2 more promos and some more music. But for the people on Rumble, I'm actually getting ready to add y'all right now because I seen somebody pop over and, why ain't y'all on Rumble? Because
we have to turn Rumble on separate from everything else. I don't know.
Well, some guy just forgot that you gotta pick the thing you want. Uh-huh. We got to pick the stream. If you don't pick the stream, it won't do it. And I was busy yapping about something else. It happens sometimes, but no, we're gonna be playing the song in a second, and then actually, yes, United Public Radio has been working real good. I may add news on the flip side later, or UFO Undercover, whichever one wants to behave. Facebook. Well, we're not going to get into this, but for a second, I don't know if it's Facebook or if it's StreamYard, but we seem to have selected issues. Sometimes it's Roku, It's never been Rumble. I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Yeah, Rumble has been working perfect the whole time.
Uh,
I think what it is like system updates at Facebook and Roku, and the StreamYard and those are no longer as compatible. So Roku fades in and out sometimes, and certain functions on Facebook don't work. It's weird.
well, I started when we're on live, like I can see us on the computer. Oh, no, I can't actually. Oh yeah, there we are. Okay. But usually it's somebody watching, so I can keep tabs of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And all that's changing, but I decided to wait till after the first of the year to change it all. But no, we're going to be offering a few different perks. Well, we're going to be offering some perks for some hosts. Also, we're going to be offering some perks for some listeners. Now, one of the companies contacted. See, Michelle and I do a show called The Gray Zone, and the problem with The Gray Zone is you people can't get it unless we're live or unless I happen to be playing a rerun. Now, Jay and I have been talking about taking a slot after that, but it's pretty late, so we may end up taking a Sunday or the earlier slot on Saturday for the new show called The Chat. It's going somewhere. So anyway, if and this is an if, I mean the deals are in the works, but until I'm the kind of guy until I have it in my hand, I don't believe anything. But so the new company is going to offer us two things we don't have right now. They're going to offer us an additional stream venue. Probably going to be Fire Stick, but somebody might talk me into Apple. We're not going to mention her name, and
Not a perk, Joe.
but so the thing of it is, so that means the Gray Zone gets to go out on that. But see, the company we're with right now is ridiculous about their pay for listen. So this company is going to throw not just pay for listening. So we'll be able to charge for venues like the Gray Zone. I can put the whole list of shows up, and I can charge for individual shows, or I can charge for the whole season. And I think there's 3 seasons. I'd have to actually ask Michelle, but there's at least 60 episodes.
It's right here in the room.
And but anyway, or maybe 40 episodes. But anyway, there's plenty of them up there for y'all to look at. And if they start making money, I'll tell you a little secret. Michelle and I will start doing them again. Yes, but they need to make money. Michelle works hard on those shows. All I do is sit around and yap. That's I already know all the stuff in my head anyway,
Mm-hmm.
And, but Michelle, she does her homework.
Yeah, and I've been doing this stuff 48 years off and on, and a lot of stuff in my head I had forgotten until the Ancient Alien show, and they were like, "Oh, I remember that." It's like, holy shit, I haven't thought about that in 30 years. So there's a lot out there. So if you either you don't do the research, you have a terrible show, or you have it in your head and we still have great shows, but it's there's so much information and it's so disjointed and so compartmentalized. It's so hard to organize a show. So thank God Michelle is able to do that, because I couldn't even organize a book right now with what I have up in my head.
Well, the shows are really well done. There's a lot of good information. There's a lot of good chat in them, but there's a lot of good information in them because we discuss everything. Oh, you're talking about what's his name? The old Dago guy I used to host with. Man, it went right at DeSoto. Man, his name went right out as soon as you said that. It went right out of my head. Oh, I can't think of his name. John something or another. Yeah, we used to. Yeah, well, he because he did some work on the Shroud of Turin and some other stuff. So it was interesting talking to him. We didn't agree on the Shroud, by the way. Matter of fact, one of the most heated shows I've had on this network was with him about the Shroud. Oh yes. Well, I fight with everybody. I don't care. That's why Michelle does all her research. Yeah, that's why she does so much research, because she don't like to lose arguments. That's all. She's like, she ain't getting away with that shit. I can hear it now. And I'm glad she showed up, because I'm going to be guesting with her tomorrow night. Her and the infamous Amelia. Yes, she has become infamous now. Don't ask me why. She just has.
It's the food porn.
It is the food porn, I think. Yes, she's infamous now, known for food porn. And if you don't know what food porn is, don't get no weird ideas in your head, because it's nothing like you're thinking spraying whipped cream all over somebody. That's not what it is. No, she likes to cook, is what it is, and she likes to share her cooking.
And bake.
And she's a good cook.
And candies too.
And she cooks a lot. And when she's feeling good, she'll send me all kind of pictures of what she's been cooking, things she's been doing. Bitch got a nice stove, by the way, too. We're not going to get in this because that's not what this show's about. But she does like to cook. So over the last couple of years, it's been termed food porn. Oh, because Joe's been out hustling donations for this network and for ICAR, so you don't have to go listen to some little rogue network that don't have but 2 people on it. Yeah, it costs money. I can't have people. It costs money. Yes, and it's been weird now. We'll see. Trump's going to get in office. Things are going to change. On this Friday's show, though, we have a guest, but after the guest, we're going to be discussing the future leader of Canada. By the way, I like this guy. He is a smart ass shithead from hell. I like this guy. I don't know, man. What's his name? Polly. And he's got the weirdest name I've ever heard, like Polly Pitpool. I don't know what it is, but it's Polly something or another. Canadians don't hate on me. Okay, y'all got weird names. What can I say? But it's gonna be a good show. We have Giovanni Stefano on with us. This thing on with his new thing he's got coming out, The Evil. So he'll be kind of debuting that with us. When are we going to have Will and Ben back? We will have them back in the future. Actually, I got to sit with them. I got to get them with Michelle and blah 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 blah. There you go. That's his name right there. And I got to get them with Michelle, and then we're going to decide what we're going to do with them. Where we're going to put them. We have no prime time left. No, there's none of that. Unless, okay, let me rephrase that. We do have prime time if you can afford it. That's all I can tell you. But right now, the prime time is full. Yes, there's no free prime time on the network. There's really not much of free anything on the network anymore. It costs money. Everything we own, we have to pay for. All of our computers, all of our servers, all of our stuff around the world. Mm-hmm. What do you think poor Michelle works for free? Because she knows I'm going bankrupt. Anyway, getting down what we come on to talk to about tonight. Actually, we have been bringing ICAR back from retirement, or I shouldn't say retirement. We'll just say hiatus would be a better way of saying it. But so I officially started hiring directors a day before yesterday. I haven't had a really good chance to sit down and talk with any of the people in the network. Yes, or yes, and I love you, Michelle, because you did a damn good job. But I haven't really had a chance. I'm going to offer positions on the network to anybody who's looking to get involved in this. We have a lot of diverse people in the network. And then I will probably start posting things on the shows. I'll probably make an ad for it. And then you start seeing me post on all of our things. Now, when I say this, ICAR is an old organization now. It's almost 30 years old. It's got over 100,000 cases on file. Over 100,000 all together in the 35 years we were with it. There was far more than that then, because there was so much crap you had to wade through. It's kind of like writers in the future, the fact that they've got those proofreaders first, and then they've got the reader, and then it goes to the judges. It's kind of the same thing. So usually what you would see is a junior investigator or someone like that would get a case when it come in, they would read it. Now they're going to be taught what abduction criteria is and all this stuff. And then they can read it and make a determination. How real do they think this case is? Now, if they think that it's probably something, but there's not enough, they can put it on one pile and say, okay, we need to contact them, but they're not, not right away. These people and these people seem to be having much more intense things happen in their lives. So the reason we contact the people that are having more intense is for actually several reasons. One, it's because they need help. They need somebody to talk to. I mean, this shit's intense, and they just need somebody to talk to all the way around. They need just to be there. Yes, thank you. No, look, thank you. Just teasing. But anyway, they need this help, and then it also gives us an opportunity to observe up close when things are going on. It allows us to monitor the place in case for sightings of UFOs. Now, I'll tell you a little secret. This is one of ICAR's most closely guarded secrets I'm about to give away right now. It's probably the only time I ever talk about this. So when we stake out an abductee's house, we do it in a couple of ways. One, there are people inside the house, but only contactees. It's a waste to put a non-contactee in the house. They'll just knock them out like
see the frequency, or there's technology that they block.
They'll probably just knock them out like they do to pets and everything else. They'll probably just and they'll go lay to sleep on the couch. But outside, we put 2 non-contactees and 3 contactees watching the house, because by my own theories, I don't think regular everyday people can see UFOs.
I don't either.
So I want them there just in case to prove me wrong. I don't mind being proven wrong. Okay, I'm not going to lie to y'all. It's I'm in this for the research. I'm not in this. Nobody's paying me or anything. I just if y'all know how much money I put into ICAR, you don't even want to know. Some of you could have retired.
The whole idea of research is you're trying to find an answer, whether it's a yes or a no. So if I have a theory and I run with it, I research it, and someone comes along down the road and debunks it, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
Like, well, good. I finally found my answer. Now I don't have to go looking around for the answer anymore.
What's that, Jeffrey? We do debunk a lot. Well, debunk's the wrong word. Okay, we change things. We move things into the right direction. Yes.
Redefine them. I think
Like when you've heard us talk, you've heard me talk about the Betty and Bunny Hill case. That's not really changing it. We're still saying that there was an abduction that happened. All we're saying is that the abduction was in Canada and the military abduction was in the U.S. That's all I'm saying. It's the only difference is we're just adding one step into it. We're not taking anything away from it. We're just adding more into it. And it actually makes when you listen to the original tapes, and I tell this to people all the time, before you come argue with me about this, go listen to you can still find the Simpson tapes online of them being hypnotized. But even if you don't, some of that's kind of intense, by the way. But there are lots and lots of archives of them on AM and FM 70s radio shows that you can go listen to. And when you listen to them speak, you know what they're saying. So it really makes more sense when you say, okay, the abduction happened in Canada because that's where all the weird shit happened. And the military abduction happened here. That's after the weird shit and just more different kind of weird shit. But if you look at the Hills case, what happened in the United States, you will not find any other cases like it. No swinging silver doors, no pull-down maps, no paperback
needles
books.
for amniocentesis.
Now, Christopher, so you read Kathleen Maudrin's book. I actually like Kathleen, even though I took note with her what she did with that book. She changed a few things. Like she turned a pull-down map into a digital TV. She changed the outcome of the dress and the spots on the back of the car. Now, I can tell you what was on the back of the car. They shot 4 diodes down and just shot an EMP through the car because back then they didn't know how to pulse it yet. So they just pumped it through. Probably wasn't even EMP. It's probably just electricity and just knocked out all the electrical in the car because that's the way Barney described it. It's like the electricity went out and the car just... Yeah. And then, by their own description, this silver-looking thing hovered over the area and then a set of stairs came down like... kind of sounds like a blimp. They did 4 guys in black hats, black shirts, black pants, and black boots walked over. Now, does this sound like aliens to y'all? Looped their arms underneath each one of them and carried them back to the steps and brought them into this craft. Okay. That's pretty intense, but it still don't sound like aliens in any case. None of that sounds like an alien. So half the time the alien would have just took the car. Ask Whitley Strieber. I'll tell you.
Yeah, the whole car up into the ship. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so now they're in the ship. So they don't do anything to Betty, by the way. Go listen for yourself. She said all her stuff happened later on, and maybe so, but not then. And we know abductions happen before birth. They're lifelong things. So in this case, now you've got them describing taking fluid samples with a syringe. And all kind of fluid samples, and taking scrapings like off their skin and hair and stuff with a razor blade. Okay. I've never heard, needle you might shove down my throat, but I'm not even buying a needle. But razor blade, I'm sorry, guys. Well, that's
and us. Also, more importantly, Barney describes the men putting a device on his genitals against his will, and then him coming to orgasm. He was very, very distraught over that. I mean, he was so almost like a rape victim, the way he described the experience.
Yeah, and it probably was. It was probably some type of vibrating device. Actually, no, that's not how the aliens do it. The aliens, use this term, the aliens have a milking machine. That's the only way you can describe it. Every male contactee that's happened to them says they feel like a lot of them report it like a rape, but a lot of them say it's like they were like a cow hooked up to a machine. That's how they describe it, except it's not 8 little things. It's just one little thing. I got probably over 5,000 cases like that, probably more than that. Yeah, I would bet it's more than that. But we also got cases. And I'm going to have to put a R rating on this show. We've also got cases where reptilian women come and take human men as mates, not not lifelong mates, but mates, because that's how the alphas, females and males work. There's a particular thing that happens. I'm not going to say it on air because it's abduction criteria. But the way we know if somebody's actually had this happen to them or not, there's something that goes on at the moment of intercourse that the only way you could know about it is if experienced it. So no, the directors will know. Most of the directors will know. I don't really keep anything from the directors. Well, all right, maybe a little bit, but well, you'd have to ask them if it was uncomfortable or not, or what. I'm not going to get into that because it's not that kind of show. But we can do one in the future. I'm dressed too clean for that kind of talk. I'm sorry, people. When I'm dressed like this, it's $1.99 a minute. Just don't even go there. I'm just telling you ahead of time.
It's $199.
That's right. So as long as you're comfortably okay, yes. And no. There's a 5-hour minimum. You do the math. Basically $200 a minute. How much do you think that is per hour? How much do you think that is per 10 minutes?
Oh, and we.
I mean, 10 hours. I'm sorry.
Look up behind us. We have the wrong background up.
Oh, damn, we do. Damn. Jay and I were looking. Jay and I were looking at this banner earlier, and because we were talking about it being, we were talking about it being a festival, getting ready for the holidays. Well, we were going through the banners. Wrong thing there. Apologize for that. Oh, it was on the total wrong list there. No, I was going to use that banner. It just was on the wrong list. Well,
Michelle's got a good idea. We can talk about more of it in depth on Friday if we want. We can change the programming up.
It's I'm thinking we might use the chat for that.
Okay.
Because I got to thinking about it. Oh yeah, we would have used Michelle's thing tonight, weren't we?
Yeah, that's a good one.
so I was thinking, like the chat, sometimes I can mislabel it like ICAR chat or the chat ICAR, something like that. Just on nights when that's all we were going to discuss. Well, it means I don't have to discuss it as much on here, and I can talk about things that I really like to talk about. It, like why do aliens probe people? I don't think that happens near as often as television would like you to think it does.
You've seen Star Trek. Star Trek is about 200. Was it? It's 1966, 2266. So it's 300 years in the future from us. And they had a device. Captain McCoy had a little device that he would go. He's dead, Jim. Instead of checking for a pulse, or he'd go. Oh, yeah, his arm's broken. They can detect almost everything they need to find out from us with their technology. They don't have to take fluid samples, skin samples, semen samples, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Not quite like that. I think they can scan most of that. And where they are going to take samples. But I didn't see you said nothing, Michelle. You be messing with me while I'm live, girl. Don't be doing that because I'll come mess with you when you live. You know how I am. No, I'm going to hang out with Michelle and Amelia tomorrow night. Actually, I was going to be on Karen's show, but I think she's got somebody else. I thought I'd seen a letter from her. I haven't had a chance to read it, but I thought I'd seen one from her. Yeah, ATP. You'd have to actually ask Michelle what that meant. I have no clue. Michelle keeps adding shows. Half the time I don't even know what's on the damn network anymore. It's so nice to be oblivious. I'm just not even going to lie about it. Somebody the other day was asking me, you should know. Yes, that's no, Michelle knows that. I don't need to know that. If I need to know something, I'll call her up and ask her.
He's like, yeah, I can't wait to do the whole show. I'm like, who are you? He's like, I'm on your radio network. What? News to me.
Really? Oh, nice to meet you. Anyway, get back what we're talking about. But so I mean, when you get into the stuff that ICAR has been into, it gets really serious. I mean, we got into some deep dark stuff that we probably shouldn't have delved into. We had directors get threatened. We had members get threatened. We had national and international directors get threatened. It was we scared MUFON into a whole new life. They changed in 10 years. They changed directors 3 times. The only director, matter of fact, the only director I have not ever interviewed for MUFON is the current director. I have never talked to him. What do you mean? I don't know. I've never listened to him. I don't know. After dealing with MUFON for 30 years, 35 years, actually, I've probably been in and out of MUFON more times than this guy's been. He was probably a baby back then. I don't know. He might be a nice guy as far as I know. I know they're when it comes to abduction research, they suck.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get so many of their contactees. There was 2 groups out there. MUFON's one of them, and there was another one who, and they're still out there. They're just not as prevalent as they used to. Who teach people who have these contacts that it's demonic possession. Yes, and I hate to say this, but one of them was Florida's MUFON's Florida director for I don't know if he still is anymore. I'd have to go look and see. But he was their Florida director forever.
Wow.
I met him through a guy named Guy Malone who used to live in Roswell. He actually used to do a show on the network. No, him and I go way back. He got me invited to the 60th anniversary of Roswell, actually.
Cool.
It was a
That would have been fun.
blast, man. Oh, it was a blast. No, he's a good guy. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he was a good guy. He's religious. Yes, I'll warn you ahead of time. Not like that kind of religious, but religious. Well, that's how his partner was, the one that was telling everybody that this was demonic possession. And I met them because a woman called Tree Sheridan heard me speaking somewhere and came up to me and started talking to me. And I said, well, look, I'm this, and this, and they're telling me it's demonic possession. I said, well, let's sit down and talk for a while. We talked for a while, and then the more we talked, the more I realized she was having contact. I said, well, let me introduce you to some people. And I said, they don't know anything you said. And I said, I looked over and I had, we were at, that's where we were, Laughlin, Nevada, at the abduction conference. It's like 7 day long. It used to be a 7 day long conference up there. So I said, I'm going to sit these people down here. Let them talk to you for a while. Let them describe their experiences, all 4 of them. And I said, when y'all are done, come catch me. I'll take y'all out to dinner. We'll go get a nice steak and have dinner. We'll discuss the whole, because there was a bunch of other people with us. I said, well, I'll, have a big discussion about this. So, they talked, and then they caught me at the bar. We're going to eat, and Teresa's going, how could they have the same experience as me? They don't think it's demonic. Yes, because it's not demonic. It's extraterrestrial. I said, you see, some of these women are very religious. This would not be demonic. This is extraterrestrial. The hardest thing for a contactee who's very religious is coming to the terms with it's not Satan. It's something else. And well, people, it's one of those things, you get like, it's got to be Satan. Only Satan would do this. Well, first off, I don't know why Satan, unless he just thinks it's cool to have a UFO. I mean, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, why would he?
Well, I could see like one of the Roman or Greek gods. I could see them being extraterrestrials. Oh yeah, easily. I have no problem thinking they could have been extraterrestrials, and bad extraterrestrials in the fact that they couldn't stay out of humans' business. Oh yeah, they screwed us all up. They taught us a lot of bad habits. That's more that do as I say, not as I do kind of shit. That doesn't work for humans. No, humans don't like it. No. It doesn't work well for us. But ICAR was originally founded. Wow, it's a long story, but way back before the sun actually came fully into the sky, there used to be a chat group on Yahoo. Yahoo used to have really good chat there. And I would just hop around from chat groups listening. And a friend of mine, I was reading tarot for the bottom of the teacup back then. He goes, why don't you do tarot readings online? I said, nah, it's not something I want to do. He's like, yeah. So I started listening, and I found this group of people. We started talking. It was some new age groupies. By the way, all 5 of these female groupies, new age. When I say groupie, not to me, I mean as a group. And they were just new aged out of hell. They became 5 of my best directors I ever had, by the way. I mean, one of them passed, D. Andrews passed from cancer, but the other 4 are still alive. They're all retired now, but still. They were just phenomenal. So anyway, I'd hang out with them, and sometimes I'd go over this room, and I had this guy named Ariel St. Sinclair. He's supposed to be a direct line of Jesus Christ, and he was videotaping extraterrestrials in his yard. So, I was legitimately interested. I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. Let's go. So I have to listen to this guy. By the way, this guy is singularly responsible for creating the International Community Family Research. Because if I would not have met this Looney Tune bastard, I would have never done it. I wouldn't have. I would, because of him. So I went and got these other people I was hanging out with. I said, don't listen, this guy's nuts. And so we all started attacking his ass. So then we started the UFO Alien Phenomena group, which lasted for Well, and until the mid of the station's age, um, because it kind of came irrelevant at that point. I do keep it around. The Pal Talk's still around. We still have a presence over there sometimes when I feel up to it, or when I do my own show. Sometimes I'll open up Pal Talk and let it run in the background. That's right, Christopher. You're still in Pal Talk. You can text me from there. It's under UFO Paranormal Radio, I believe. It's either UFO Paranormal Radio or Paranormal Radio, one or the other. It'll be on one of those two you can find. You can text me from it. It'll pop up on the screen somewhere. Yeah, it's open right now. It'll pop up on the screen. But anyway, we started that. It was on Yahoo for a while, and Yahoo got so full of crazies that it wasn't worth being there. And then this group from Fire Talk called me when they said, "Look, you can do that over here, and we have controls." Well, right as we was getting ready to switch, Pal Talk bought Fire Talk out, which was like, okay. So when we got there, you had individual rooms. You could set up your own rooms to chat whatever topic you wanted. You had complete admin control. You could play videos in them. You could play audio in them. They were fabulous for the back in the day. I mean, not, they were like today. Yeah, it was just. Oh yeah, I had ICQ. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
ICQ is like some ancient piece of crap today, though. It's still around somewhere. I heard something about it just recently, but I had that too. They were a popular search engine for a long time, and they're still around. But AOL's still around, but they're like this big now. Before they were like,
yeah.
Well, that's back in the day of modems. For anybody who listening that doesn't know what a modem is, F you.
Yeah. AOL was the big one to start off with, but I mean, they just. I don't even know when. I mean, it's just one day I was like, "What the hell?"
It was too much other stuff. Yeah, it was too much other stuff. Just overwhelmed them.
You got
but anyway,
stuff quicker. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so we got to there. But that's why ICAR was founded, and I would talk to this group of ladies I was hanging out with, and we had brought in some people we had met. And the little room had gotten up to about 20 or 30 regulars, 40 regulars, and then we started pulling directors. All of a sudden, we got on Pal Talk. It was doing 200, 300 people a night, and it was really, truly a support group is what it was. It was so that like minds could talk about things that had happened in their lives without being criticized by other people. And then it grew, and then eventually almost all of our directors came out of there or came from other directors picking their own, because the directors have the rights to pick their own investigators, their own, assistant investigators, assistant directors. I mean, we can do it, but we prefer that the director does it itself. Well, they're more familiar with the area where they live and things like that. No, some states we did co-directors. Yes. Mainly because it kept the peace. Because they were both really good directors, and picking one over the other was going to cause hurt feelings for the other one. Yes, we actually think, I know we think about stuff like that. Shh, do not tell woke people that. Lord have mercy. You'll have them hating on Jay and I all Friday night. Well, you mean for me personally? It's because, man. So when I was in the Navy, a lot of pilots told me about seeing a lot of shit. And I mean pilots not just Navy pilots, because, doing the bombing derby, sometimes we'd have the Air Force out there, the Navy would be going at it. And I'd be talking to all these pilots, and not fighter pilots, helicopter pilots, cargo planes. It didn't really matter. All of them had seen shit. It was like, I really didn't meet any that hadn't, because after about a year and a half, 2 years, I started asking, hey, have you ever seen things? Oh, yeah, man, I've seen this and this. I'm like, really? And they're like, oh, yeah, but we can't report that shit, John. I'll tell you about it.
If it's a military pilot, it's like 100% chance that that almost every flight or at some point during their flying career, they've seen unusual stuff. If you're a commercial pilot, it's a little less likely, probably 85 to 90% of the time you go up, because they are flying a lot of routes repeatedly, like, puddle jump shots and whatnot. But if you're a private aviator, and you may or may not have as many chances to do that, because you're not flying as high. You're not flying usually out of major airports, and for whatever reason, it's the few incidences of UFO sightings through private airplanes is very, very minimal.
It is very minimal, except for the guy who coined the flying saucer. Other than that, it is pretty.
Yeah, Kenneth Arnold.
Yeah. What's that, Jackie? No, it's no. Oh no. No, we were talking about AOL. Yes. No, some people still have AOL. Yes. You know what? Probably on one of these old computers I don't use anymore. I bet you there's a whole full account on it. At one time, I had like 7 accounts on it. I never do anything with one account. Get the hell out of here! I can't live with one account. Come on, I got 14 Facebook accounts. Give me a break, man. I'm not. I'm not ordinary, Joe. I got too many things on my mind, and now I'm getting ready to make some major changes in my life. And if they go according to plan, I will have a lot more time for ICAR and radio stuff. So, woe behold, you poor suckers, man, because it's coming. Um, so on the website, somewhere on the ICAR website, which eventually will get redone, because Michelle's talking me into letting some little young ladies redo one of our other sites. I'll have time to redo it. Maybe I'll drag in a couple of helpers. And no. I mean, you got site experience. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I can't let you on it. But I actually have to know you, or you have to know one of the people that I know. Yes. Sorry. No, nothing being mean. It's just it's not just access to one site. That is access to like 14 or 15 websites. We can't just have somebody go on a rampage and start deleting them all one night. Yeah, they're on Homestead, I believe. Yes. We used to keep stuff on GoDaddy, but GoDaddy got rid themselves, so they're no longer on GoDaddy. And actually, I hate to say this, but Homestead's building tools are better than GoDaddy's. But anyway, getting back to what we were talking about, ICAR is just basically because of all that stuff we were just talking about, and a crazy Ariel St. Sinclair, which last time, well, we're going to get into that, but because of them, the organization was founded. And when the ICAR site was originally built, it was a one-stop shop built, and it still is. It's just old, and some stuff works, some don't. It's what I mean by one-stop shop. So if you go there right now, there are probably 150, 160 UFO pictures there or more. These are some of the best pictures ever taken, and they're much better pictures than you see today, which confuses me. This is 2024. How come a picture from 1964 looks better than the picture from 2024 taken with a high-end digital camera? I mean, come on.
Probably because it was altered.
I bet it was because it was taken on Kodak 400 or 800 film. That's why. I don't. You know what? I hate to say this, but on some things, film is still better than digital is. You use a Kodak. Oh no, Kodak's got some serious film for taking some serious, in-depth, beautiful pictures.
All kinds of different types of films. And the other funny thing is through the digital technology, I pretty much just, with my knowledge of video, how video was recorded onto tape and how digital cameras grab their imaging, orbs have been really popular. I mean, there was a huge boom of them in the last 20 years or so. People catching all kinds of orbs. Those aren't orbs. Your camera is picking up light reflecting from water droplets in the air, dust in the air, dust on the lens, dirt and water on the lens, all kinds of other things. Especially if it's a cell phone, you're touching it with your grimy fingers. You got your fingerprints all over the lenses that your camera is looking at. So finger oil is doing that. You have an emulsion film and you collect an orb. Bring it to me, and I'll prove it to you whether it's real or fake.
Yes, I mean, really and truly, if you've got a decent, I'm gonna help you out cheap. Okay, most people have big flat screen TVs now, so you can upload stuff to your screen. In case you don't know that, you can upload stuff. You can take a thumb drive, stick it in there, and stick it in the back of your, or if you connect to the internet, you can do it that way. But regardless, you can upload it to your thing. Like my TV's got nice zoom setups in it, so I can take an orb, a little tiny orb, even on my computer, I could blow it up, but it'd still be, about this big on here. What you're looking for is what's inside that orb. That'll tell you. I mean, I don't know. I would say even an average person, if you can see what Jay and I are talking about, you'd know that it's not it's not dust. But most of them, I'd agree with Jay. I'd say 90%, 95% are dust, dirt, water droplets. One of the best orbs I ever seen was great. It's hovering right in the middle of this hallway. We were doing some work, and I was taking a picture of this floor we had just got through putting in. It was a foyer, actually. And I just got through taking this picture of this foyer, and I'm looking at it later on. There's a beautiful, perfect orb right there in the center of the foyer. I'm like, look how pretty this thing is. And I'm looking at it, and then I noticed there was a ray of light. There was a peephole, and the peephole had shot a ray of light out and caused this this orb about halfway down the rail. Like, it was a great picture. I put it online. Everybody thought for sure, oh my God, it's a live orb. No, it's not. It's dust. But now, a friend of mine, Gregory Avery, I haven't talked to him in about a decade. He used to go by the name of Orb Master. So this is a typical weird UFO thing. This is a high-end attorney. He had a beautiful home, beautiful wife, beautiful kids, and all of a sudden, he had an experience, and it took over his life. He couldn't let it go. He was out taking pictures, spending money on high-end equipment, soundproofing his office so he could have meetings there with people, and it grew 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 until he had his own. He became a MUFON director, and he had his own group down here, which is how I met him, because I was part of his group. And we used to go to his office, and where the room was soundproof. Even had these devices in there that would make a white noise, so nobody could pick you up. It was great. And tell you what, after like the third or fourth meeting, white van, every meeting would be out there with tinted windows. I'd go up and do this big old something dish like this big around in a guy's hand, parabolic dish. Yes, trying to listen to what we were talking about.
And on the orbs, they're also saying, I can't lie. I mean, I'm sorry, Michelle, but most of the digital imagery of orbs is just simple things that the digital camera is able to pick up that the SLR or emulsion film camera cannot. The orbs that I've seen on emulsion film, they don't have anything in them, or they have a shadow of a anthropomorphic human-like object. Water droplets on the lens, if you zoom in, you'll see stuff that you see in water. If you ever looked at water through the microscope, you'll see like the outlines of one-celled organisms in that water in that still picture. That's not an orb. It's either on the lens or in the air that the camera picked up.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that are definitely not anything, but there's some good ones out there. But I'm telling you about Gregory. So he tells me one day they call him the Orb Master, right? So one day he sends me a picture from in front of his house. So he's got two witches with pumpkin heads hanging inside his doors, a big pumpkin in the yard, and two more of these witches things on stakes, right? So he commands the orbs. He does this on video, and they go get on top of the heads. And so all you see now, instead of 5 pumpkin heads, you see 5 orbs sitting right over each thing. That was crazy looking. And then the son of a bitch got this picture, and it's still eerie to me today, of these gold droplets moving upwards. You know, they were heavy on the bottom and pointing on top, but they were moving upwards like they were being drawn from the hospital. Now, I would say it was souls, but there was too many of them. I mean, not that many people died. There was no big major disaster. So I'm not sure what the hell he got. But it was creepy and weird and exhilarating all at the same time. They were orbs. They were real ones. But what they were, I'm not even willing to speculate on, because I don't have a clue. Now, down here, you got to be extremely careful because we live in a very humid state. So you can go outside right now with a regular flash camera and flash the camera. It could even be a regular camera. Just go outside and flash it. You're going to get orbs all over it. All over it. I mean, there'll be literally hundreds of them in there. It's crazy. Well, I believe in orbs. I just believe in the right kind. I don't, there's funk ones and there's good ones.
Here's a good test that people, if you want to try this with your cell phone or your digital SLR,
see if they react to you.
Take a Mr. bottle or a spritzer that you use, like spray your air plants and whatnot. Spray it in the air, take a picture, and use your flash. Use your flash, and make sure it's on a darker background so you can see. And then wait a few minutes, let the water you sprayed in the air settle to the ground, and then take another picture. And I'll bet you both pictures will be almost identical, except for the one with the spritz, you'll have a lot more. I mean, it'll fill up the whole image.
It's crazy. Oh no, there's somewhere on one of the websites. I have to go find it. I did a is this real? Is this fake thing? Mm-hmm. Where I went outside. It was a misty evening. It was like the fog had come through, and there was just all this water vapor in the air. And I started snapping shots. And some of these orbs looked intense, man. They had like hexagons in them and pentagons in them. It was insane. Yep. But I knew what they were because I knew what was going on. Now, on a different note, I'm walking in to go have lunch at the not the Quarter Two Sisters, Antoine's. Antoine's is the one Anne Rice thinks that the owner is a vampire, and it's the same guy going back like 200 years. But anyway, so while I'm walking through the breezeway, I snap a picture, snap a picture, snap a couple pictures of Antoine's face, snap a picture. So I'm sitting down eating, and I'm going through, you go through pictures. I'm like, what the hell? So I zoom it in and look. I'm like, well, this looks like a pretty interesting orb. So it was an orb. So in the first picture I took, it was an orb. In the second picture, it was stretching. In the third picture, it had moved to over here and was no longer an orb, but it had stretched out. I don't know what it was, guys. Was it a regular vapor orb? No, it was something else. But New Orleans is one of the most haunted cities in the world. Come on, guys.
Here's something I'd like to share with the audience, since we're talking about this. The lens does a lot of really weird things with lighting, whether there's water in the air or it's the light itself. So people have heard about moon dogs and sun dogs. They think there's a second sun or a second moon up there. It's not. It's an optical illusion, and it's called lens flare. And I'm going to present this from my website here. Give me a sorry. There we go. Just a couple images. This is what lens flare would look like in a emulsion camera. These are the sun just reflecting through the lens and bouncing off the mirrors in it, and you get these extra things. Here's an unusual one, like a flare, but the dots they're not orbs either. They're just natural. The way a camera sometimes the sun, the light's at the right angle, it makes these happen.
It's there's a lot of weirdness goes on with cameras. I had what was it, Carly? An expert. I wouldn't call myself an expert. I mean, I had 5 years of 4-H in competition, but I wouldn't call myself. I can even do film. Well, yes, that's why they call it emulsion film, because you put it in liquid. I can develop my own film. Yes.
Very noxious chemicals you have to put them into.
Yes, it is too. It is. It's
very volatile.
Should always have a good something stuck in the air out of there if you can. No, I had a big thing about even today. I mean, I have probably taken over 1 million pictures by now. Easy. Oh, it drives somebody I'm married to insane is what it does. Oh yeah, I'll stop. I'll be on the interstate. Oh, we're gonna stop. Look at that. And see, with this thing I got now, this phone's got 128 megapixel camera on this. This is like going out and spending $5,000 on a big. It's got 5 cameras on it, but it's got 100. The front facing one is 50 megapixels. That's more than most back facing cameras are.
It's more than most Hollywood.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. It's 108. Cameras. It's 108, not 128.
It's still more than most Hollywood cameras.
Yeah. It's insane. It takes good pictures, but you got to watch because it takes such good pictures. You got to make sure the lens is clean.
Yeah.
Yes. This one I paid hardly nothing for this phone. Now I got to talk to anybody who's got an i15 because my new company wants to send me 4 i15s because I told them I didn't want no AI shit. So she goes, but the 16s will be cheaper than the 15s. I said, you told me $5 a phone, right? For the length I got the phone. She's like, yeah. I'm like, that's cheap. She said, yeah, but I can give you 16s for $3. I'm like, look, start off with, I'm not the biggest iPhone fan.
Yeah.
They're too proprietary for me. Why do too many things? I need to be able to do stuff on the road and out in the field.
Yeah, but the only good thing about having any Apple technology is it is harder to hack and it is harder to send viruses into it. Other than that, it's not any different than Android.
It's I don't even know if that's even as true as it used to be. I know 12 and 13 and 14 were almost unhackable.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I got to see what the 15s look like. I mean, this phone is 6.5 inches. So, I mean, it's got a nice screen on. It's got great color, great audio. I don't know if it's 8-core or 12. One of my phones is a 12-core. One's an 8-core. I can't remember which one this one is. It's one or the other. It's got 250 megs of RAM in it. I mean, come on. And I bought it for that. I paid under $200 for it. And plus, it's a One Plus. Yes, they're usually more expensive than that. Don't ask me. I ain't going to complain. I like it. But I'll see if I like the i5s. If not, the lady said I'll have 14 days to send them back and switch them out for Samsung 24s. And I get a better deal with the 4 iPhones than I do with the 4 Samsung. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. Y'all can call whoever you want to deal with. I hear Verizon's giving away all kind of good stuff right now. You can even get a pad, a phone, and a watch.
AT&T is doing some good stuff too. I picked up the Google 8 Pros for myself and Diane, and 6.7-inch screen, Google Tensor G3. I have no idea what that is. 50 megapixel main, 48 megapixel ultra wide, and a 48 megapixel telephoto, plus a 10.5 megapixel selfie camera, and then the battery. So mine's not as powerful as yours, but
It's still a good phone though.
it's
It's a,
the pictures and the graphics and the definition that these pictures we can take now, that they are superior to emulsion film, but minus the fact that you're not picking up orbs, you're just picking up dirt in your air.
well, I like a good.
I hate to burst
You
everyone's
know,
bubble, but it's, if you flood the market with false information, you're going to flood the market with, you're going to kill it. I mean, no one's ever going to believe an orb ever again.
I think the reason people still like to use the old school cameras is just you get a better set of lenses all the way around.
And it's fun too. I mean,
it is fun, but when you get hold of
never
one of them
know
wide
until you
angle
develop
lenses,
the film. Did you get a good picture or did you not? It's hit or miss.
when you get one of them lenses that see a half a mile, you're like, yeah, well, this is nice, man.
Yeah.
And you not only does it see a half mile, but it sees it crisp and clean and clear. You're like, whoa, wait a minute now. No, your phones can't do that. Sorry, people. There are telescopic lenses you can buy for your phones, but they'll never be as clear as that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anything that's going to be that clear, you'll have to get you a digital setup with a lens. But digitals usually don't have swappable lenses. Some of them do, but most of them don't. Because they think their zoom is enough. I mean, sometimes they got 128 megapixel zoom and stuff. So they think that's enough. But the kind of stuff we look for and try to look at, whether it's ghosties, aliens, spaceships, demons, you need something that's going to capture it. And to be honest with you, when we do investigations of any kind, there's multiple cameras there.
Right, and the thing about ghosts and ghostly images, particularly on daguerreotype and tintypes, which are completely different from film. You're actually exposing the image onto a plate it's a metal or zinc plate that has chemicals in it, so that you can't alter that. With a emulsion film, you can kind of alter it. You can make double exposures and whatnot. But with the digital realm, you can take a picture and you can add an orb, no problem. And as long as no one finds the metadata, no one's the wiser. But that's the problem with the metadata. Even if you hide it, certain experts can bring it back, call it back.
But there's ways to cheat around that. You know who showed me?
No.
You'll never guess who showed me. He does a lot of UFO stuff for the field. He's an expert on photos. And
Bruce Maccabee.
Yeah, so if I take a picture,
photos is Bruce Maccabee.
So I can go out and take a picture of a field, come back later, crop in a UFO, upload it to my computer, then back download it to my phone. All the metadata is gone. That's it. There's nothing there but
that's a cheap hack.
picture.
But I think there are some experts, and probably Bruce would know that there's a few experts that can dial it back and find that metadata, at least pieces of it anyway.
They well, the problem isn't, and actually what he said to do was to download it to your phone, then upload it to another computer, and then download it back to your other phone. He said all that's left after that is simply to download from the computer to the phone to the phone to the computer. He said what it does is it replaces the data. He said the only data that'll be there would be the original picture data, and since it can't tell you what was in the center of the screen, it doesn't matter. I used one. So a good friend of mine was working at the WIP facility. I don't know how many of y'all know what the WIP facility is, but the WIP facility is where the United States stores all of its non-nuclear, all of its non-weapon grade nuclear materials. That's where they store it at. It's a big underground facility. So they have a big staff meeting there, right? She sends me a picture of the big staff meeting in this big underground area. So I cropped in a Bob Lazar UFO right behind him. Beautiful job. Posted it, moved it around a couple times, and then posted it to the internet. And then, of course, everybody on the internet just grabbed it and started went viral. Almost got this girl fired. She's like, "What did you do?" I said, "I just cropped it and put a UFO behind it." And literally and truly, there were people all over. It made it to TV. Oh, look, they're hiding in these nuclear places. That's why we can't ever find them. They're keeping them parked in these places. And the room's bigger than circular to start off with, so it looks kind of weird. Oh, it's crazy. Jimmy Lee, actually, the way they store a lot of nuclear waste these days is they clean out an area and they core drill everything, and then they dump it. Well, actually, they dump a big line of this kind of clay they use, and they dump, and then they cap it with more clay. Then when it's full, they seal the place up because it's way underground. It's a couple 1,000 feet down. They seal the place up, and they put a warning signs here and there, and that's it.
And there's no lead. They don't use any lead to.
There's nothing. No, that's just some kind of clay. They, what, they might have a lead shielding somewhere between the facility and the ground.
Or maybe they infuse lead into the clay.
They might have, but they didn't show the outer belt of the facility for some reason. But I know Yucca Mountain's being done like that too. Yucca Mountain's where all the nuclear waste, all the weapons grade nuclear waste is going.
Well, yes. Or if you believe I forget the channel, BBC 4, I think IFV network show, Space 1999. They stored it on the far side of the moon, and it went nuclear and shot the moon out of orbit like a rocket.
A big ass rocket too.
Yeah.
It's called, well, he's talking about Space 1999. It's
TV show.
It's campy, and we'll leave it at that. No, it's worth watching. It
was definitely worth watching. 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's just
his wife, Barbara.
Yeah. His husband and wife played the 2 leads. No, it's got some good moments in it. I mean, it's campy in the fact that even for the technology, even for then, was a little bit on the.
Look, okay, so here's the funny thing about it. The show was produced by the guy who did the Thunderbirds, which was a kid show with marionette rockets and spaceships and fighter pilot jets and all that kind of. And guess what Space 1999 was? It was a marionette show for adults, and all the spacecraft are marionette puppets, every single one of them. And it is really cool to watch, and it's almost a realistic because they're trying to imitate a spaceship flying around the surface of the moon, and they nailed it. I mean, they damn nailed it.
No, they no, it's if you're gonna watch it from start to finish. No, it got canceled in the end of its 2nd season, but well, it was, like I said, it was a little on the campy side. It was fun to watch. I enjoy watching it. It's fun to watch.
Very famous, very popular British actor of the time, Barry Morse,
it's
third lead. So I mean, it's got good acting in it, good stories.
It was out of place. It was out of place for the other shows on that time. It was out of place. The other sci-fi shows that were going at that time were using a better technology. That was its own downfall. And the actor wasn't bad. The storylines weren't bad. There was actually some pretty good stories in there.
Star Trek wasn't necessarily concurrent with it, but it was certainly within reruns. I mean,
it was within reruns. It was just
at least 100 times on TV.
And there was something else. There was 2 or 3 other sci-fis that were out. It was just
probably Lost in Space is the same general area. A few years later, you get Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, any see, Battlestar Galactica always looked badass, but that's another one that was kind of campy, people.
Yeah, it was.
So if you watch a new Battlestar,
Star Wars.
Yeah, if you watch a new Battlestar, you get drama. You watch the old Battlestar, you get comedy. Well, you get comedy and drama.
It's more fun, yes. The new Battlestar
because you do get drama.
Very dark, and there's a lot of. And it's very, very predictable. I mean, I was in a chat room with Ron D. Moore, and I didn't know he was in the room listening to everybody. But watching the show from episode 1 to episode, I think 7, I said at some point, we're going to find out that Boomer, although she's been changed from an effective black man fighter pilot into an ineffective shuttle female pilot, and she was inept. We're going to find out at the end of the season she's both a Cylon and pregnant, and that's exactly what happened. And I kept my main complaint throughout the whole first season was it was extremely predictable all the way to the beginning,
it was.
all the way to the end.
I mean, I would have rather seen the goofy Starbuck than the intense one, but it's
why they had to gender swap everybody. It was ridiculous, and it wasn't effective.
I hear something going wing wing. And who would be calling live? New Jersey. I got no friends in New Jersey. Oh, yes, I do, but they wouldn't be calling.
Likely a spam call.
It's
So, but anyway,
What's
we are way off topic again.
Yeah, we are. We keep shifting. Well, it's still kind of UFO alien related, but
Yeah, a little bit.
what's that, Christopher? Actually, I still like old film. I mean, there's certain things I like. Well, no, I use digital, so don't get me wrong when I say this. I
It's
do like
much more
old stuff,
convenient. The
but
good thing
I
about
use the shit out of digital. Oh yes, I
yeah,
do.
carrying around an SLR film, even if you only carry around one lens, the camera itself weighs what, 5 pounds loaded.
Yeah,
You've got a bag that you can carry it in when you're not actively shooting pictures, and then you have to carry however many canisters of film you want to expose.
and
You have to have
and
a
you
pouch for
really,
those,
yeah, you really need a tripod if you're going to do it right.
and a tripod if you don't want to do handheld.
What do you mean?
A
I
lot of
own a
carrying.
tripod. I use tripod. I got one that'll hold my phone. I got one that'll
Mhm.
do film cameras. I got now somebody. I love my Sony. I had a Sony digital with a built-in hard drive and had 80 gig hard drive built into it.
I light my studio with these guys. It's a tripod that you can, if you want to, you can screw a little plate here and hold your cell phone. So that's what I light the studio with.
They well, no, there's a lot of new technology out there that y'all can use, and there's lots of
There's a lot
Snap-on
of cool
camera.
stuff out there.
There's lots of things. So, okay, Mark. So, getting back to what we were talking about. So, we got off topic as we were talking about what you use, what kind of cameras I use for UFOs. So, I'm gonna tell you, like I tell everybody, same rule applies to everybody. Go to the store, buy you some store bought, sorry, not Star-Bought, but store-bought, those cameras. Those little throwaway cameras. Buy you 2 or 3 of those, and buy you one of the waterproof ones. Okay, and just throw them in your glove box. Don't think about them unless you need them. Throw them in your glove box. Always keep your phone with you and try to keep at least one video recorder or one digital camera recorder, because there's a reason why we do this. So when you take a photo with the camera, it's a sealed camera. So when it goes for the film to be done, it's a sealed camera, and they
You have
can
to
tell us
crack
if the
it open
seal
to
was
get the
broken.
film
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
So we know that that film has not been tampered with. So whatever's on there is legit. It wasn't tampered. So if it was a fake, it had to be an outside fake, not a film fake. Also, there's a thing called grayscale in real photographs. So grayscale can tell you if a photo's been tampered with or not. It's one of the other reasons people like to use real film, is because it's a lot easier to prove it was a hoax. Now, digital is hard, and you have to get really some serious experts, and not even all the time. They can't even all the time figure it out. So with real film, you'll be able to figure it out pretty easy. It's not foolproof, mind you, but it's a lot more foolproof. So you use both. So you see this thing, you got one camera taking this picture, one camera taking it. If you got a video recorder on, drop it on, just put it on for as long as you can do it, because then you have comparisons. You can compare the films. This one might have picked that up, that might have picked this up. The video cam might have picked up something else if you got somebody else with you running it. And then again, you might not get anything, because if you're too close, this is the funny part about UFOs. You can get good shots, but you need to be at least a mile and a half. That's why you need that good zoom. Because if you're any closer than that, whatever that freaking field gives off will screw up. It even screws up.
Well,
I've got a.
it's electromagnetics. So light is affected by electromagnetism. Their craft are powered and flown by electromagnetism. So that's part of and it's also part of their cloaking device. They are able to make their ships go invisible to the naked eye, even to people who are tuned to have seen them. I've seen several. Joe's seen several. They can phase. I've never seen one phase out in front. And a lot of people think, they see a dot in space, whether they're on a camera or just looking at it with their naked eye, and it disappears. Sometimes what's happening is it's actually traveling in the same line of sight that you are. So it looks like it has disappeared. Hasn't. But there are people who have spoken about that they're seeing the actual thing, and then it disappears. And then we have millions, well, I don't know about millions, but maybe 100,000 at least observers in Mexico for years, year after year after year, and around the same time of year after year. UFO flaps. People with cameras got some good images. People with some cameras looking in the same spot got nothing. And the same thing with people with just their naked eye. Some people with their naked eye saw the hundreds of spacecraft up there, and others didn't. Whatever it is they are able to decide what we see. So if you have, like Joe says, multiple venues to take images, you have to be ready. So an instant camera isn't instant. You have to pick it up and take the packaging off of it, and then you have to advance the film at least 4 or 5 clicks on the advancer until it stops, so you're ready for
Yeah,
the
you should
first
have already
picture.
done all of that before you put it in the glove box.
Otherwise, if you see the UFO and my camera, and you stop and you open up the glove box and you fumble around and all 5 of them fall on the ground, and it takes you a second to get them, and then you go, oh, I forgot to advance the film.
No, see, but
You
you don't
have
do
to
it
be
that way.
ready. You have to
Yeah,
have
it's
the cameras set up to go on the spot. Same with an
Yeah.
SLR. You can't just go, I think, shit, I forgot to put film in it. Yeah, it takes a few minutes to do that. So you have to have the digital. Again, so easy. It's just like scramble, get it out of your pocket, boom, you might get the picture, but you don't have backup corroborating evidence to prove it.
and then it can always be challenged because it's digital.
Yeah.
It's but it's easy to keep a camera. I mean, if you go in my car right now and you open it up, you'll see 3 push to the right side of my car, 1 standing up like this. It's already been paper taken out, advanced. It's ready. All you got to do is take it and click, 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 or hit the button to turn the flash on because there's a flash on it too. It's and believe it or not, it actually has an adjustable lens in case you want to zoom in. It was about $12 a piece, but no, one's waterproof because
wide over that you can go from telephoto to wide angle.
Yeah. Well, the reason I tell you I get a waterproof one because, well, we live in the South where there's a lot of water. And from time to time, we will see shit cruising on the water. You can take that camera, put it on the water, click, 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 and see what you come up with. Because we've gotten pictures of these weird green things cruising really fast under the water near, well, right near Eglin Air Force Base, actually. It gets creepy.
Probably the same green lights that Columbus saw, but he saw them over by the Sargasso, a little bit further east from you.
But well, see, that's why. Well, you should, if you're out investigating, you should never be by yourself in the first place. You should have somebody with you.
Yeah, always never be alone.
Well, because there's always going to be more than one camera. There's going to be more than one thing to do. And some of the best UFO
evidence. There's another person, another mind, another set of eyeballs. It's not just the camera. It's you have another eyewitness.
Some of the best UFO shots we've got is when we were out watching shooting stars, meteor showers. Mm-hmm. And what's funny about it is you'll take the camera, set it up on a tripod, and get it the basic angle where they're going to be coming from and zooming in some and then let it go. And then it gets them all the time. It's kind of crazy how it does it. Ooh, excuse me, guys. Don't know where that sneeze came from. What's it, Peter? Peter. No, that would be nice.
Well, it is pumpkin season, so.
Yeah, pumpkin season is over. But anyway, try to be prepared. Because when you start, it's one thing being dumb luck, driving around seeing something, but when you start becoming an investigator, you start knowing where there's hot spots. So there's hot. I know probably more than 100 hot spots in Canada, Mexico, and United States, not including things I know about Europe, but along the Gulf Coast where I live, man, you go down to Gulf Breeze, get up near Eglin Air Force Base, park yourself out on the beach. They like to stroll through there between on the weekdays, they like to come through 12:30, about 1 a.m. to about 4 a.m., sometimes 5 a.m. You'll see them coming through there. You also see people disappearing and coming back, which is really weird. We actually documented that on several different nights. What do you mean? What I mean? So it's one of the things about doing abduction research. So we used to go out. We still do actually. It's Navarre Beach, actually, is what it is. So we drive down. There's a park between Santa Rosa Island and Navarre Beach. It's about, 12, 15 miles long. And it's all beach up there. There's several places you can pull over and go out to the beach. Now, Florida's really beautiful. You got hard-packed beaches, emerald green water. It's a beautiful place to be. And starlit skies because there's no lights out there. They're a couple of miles away. So you get the advantage of seeing everything. And when the stars are really bright, it lights up there. You really don't need light. Well, we were out there one night about 2 o'clock in the morning. We were riding and going to all these rest areas, walking out to the beach, see what's going on. We weren't seeing anybody. Nobody in the cars, nobody in the beach. So we next weekend we brought a crew with us, 3 truckloads, about 16 of us. And every time we'd get out, we'd fan out and see if we seen them. We'd walk like a mile in each direction. So we did this till 5 a.m. No one. No one in the cars, no one in the beaches. And all of a sudden, and this is what was so weird, we were sitting in the car smoking a cigarette just before I quit smoking cigarettes, people. Smoking a cigarette, and I looked out and this guy's stretching out his window. And I'm like, well, son of a bitch, I just walked through I's car not even 15 minutes ago. And we took pictures so we could verify it. So you could see on the videotape there was nothing in any of these cars. And then all of a sudden, 3 of the cars were full and 2 people were sitting on the beach in front of the end of the pier. They weren't there 15 minutes ago. Where the hell they come from? And it was like they were just waking up. That was what was so creepy about it. It was almost like they were waking up. So for the next few months, we went out there every weekend and documented this. And then over the next 10 years, we documented it, us and other people. And it's an ongoing thing. So Gulf Breeze in Navarre, people get called there for an abduction. This is what's so weird about this place. People will go on vacation, drive down there, fly down there, get how they're going to get down there, take the train, and go on vacation. And leave thinking they had the best vacation of their lives every time. So we started doing serious investigations because, loss of days is one thing. So when you started talking to people, you're like, well, how was it trip? How much did it cost you? Oh, it's really cheap. It's like we didn't spend any money. Really? Yeah. And the rental car, we never had to put gas in it. Oh, really? You drive around Florida and you put gas in your rental car? Get the hell. How many days were you down there? 7. Oh, yeah. Come on, dude. So you got to put gas in the car at least 3 times if you're driving around Florida. It's a big state with nothing and, lots of openness. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I said, well, did you use any credit cards? No, I could only find like where we ate one dinner. That was the first night there. And then I think we must have been using cash. But my wife swears we didn't spend any cash. I'm like, what? Don't you find that a little weird? And then you get to talking to them. And the only reason I'd find out about these people is because somebody they knew or one of them would say they think something weird might have happened. We had hundreds of these cases. But people were just being called down there. And then we got 2 cases where I don't know how to explain it. So the first time we seen this, I'll use my experience personally because it'll be easier. So Linda and I were down there, sitting on the beach, and we heard this weird noise. We got up, and we walked around the dune, and came around, and at first it looked like an ocean liner had, because it was like this, looked like it had beached itself, but sideways, like the water had brought it and dropped the whole thing on the beach. And I was looking at it going, well, why ain't there somebody out here? I would have thought there'd been police or Coast Guard or right next to Eglin Air Force Base. Somebody from there would have been there. But there was nobody. But all of a sudden, they had a row of windows like they got on a regular ship, in the old school ships. And you could see people moving around. And I was like, what the hell? Then all of a sudden, you started seeing people coming down this ramp. People going in, people coming out, people going in, people coming out. And next thing I knew, it was 6 o'clock in the morning. And nothing was around. There was no marks on the beach, nothing. And Linda and I are just sitting there looking at each other like, what the hell just happened? So we put it down, and because stuff happens, and you kind of mark it down in our diaries until next time we want to either hypnotize or try it again. Didn't even get a chance. 5 different people were out on that beach that night that called us and said this is what happened. Same exact thing. They said they saw the same exact thing, and the next thing they knew, it was morning. So I don't even think none of us were taken. I think we were witnessing, and it's not the first time we've witnessed someone being taken. I think they just knocked us out right there.
Or being brought back?
Yeah, they were. Well, so it looked like we were there for the whole thing. So I don't know how to, so I don't know how to explain it. It's like at first you seen people going on board the crab, and then you seen people milling around in front of those windows, and then we're sitting there, and it didn't feel like any time had passed, which I'm sure a bunch did, but they were coming off the ship. With a couple of people walking by them going up, they were coming off the ship, and they were going in the hotels because there's 5 hotels right there, and they were just going into the hotels. So stupid me goes next day and says, hey, could I see your footage for last night? And the guy looked at me like, why? I said, well, we've seen some weird stuff on the beach, and we just want to see if you caught it. And the guy's like, I said, man, it was like all these people came out of nowhere, and come walking up in the hotel. So we seen a couple of hotels. He said, "Oh yeah, there must have been a big party somewhere." He said like 30 people come walking in here at 5:30 in the morning. I was like,
Yeah,
and
wow.
he put it on videotape, and you could tell these people they didn't say hi to anybody. They just walked in, got in the elevator, and went up the elevator.
So they already had rooms. They didn't register or anything.
No, they had been there. They'd been staying there.
Oh,
They
okay.
had obviously been called out somewhere along the line and then came back. So then I asked some of the people, I said, "Well, when's the last day you remember? Well, what's the last thing you remember?" They were telling me. So we got with them and the hotel clerks and realized they'd been gone for 2 days, maybe 3, but we know 2 for sure because when we checked with the maids, none of these people's rooms had been slept in. None of them. So we checked with all 5 hotels. Well, what for? One of the hotels told us that,
Take a hike.
yeah, not that politely either.
Not in,
And
not in so many terms.
but the other ones were more than willing to work with us, and mainly because some of these
I mean, when 50 or 100 people go disappearing for 2 days, that's a thing.
yeah, and the hotels, that's the sad part. They didn't even catch it. And then I think because some of these people were kind of influential, I think that's why the hotels went ahead. These were regulars who stayed out, and that's the other thing. Just like us, these were people who regularly went down there. So from age 16 or age 15 when I started driving until recently, I go down to Gulf
You only
Breeze.
started driving at 15?
Yeah, 15. Well, I didn't start driving at 15. That's when it was legal.
3 years old.
No, yeah, that's when it was legal. I remember the first time I drove my grandpa's 442 across the Causeway Bridge. I was 9, and I was like,
I put my mother's station wagon, Chevrolet Impala station wagon, when she forgot something in the house, and she forgot to turn the car off. So I stepped over and I just do what she did, one click, and we went right across the street, right out of the driveway. And like, cool.
yeah, no, he when I was 9, he started letting me drive. He had a red Datsun pickup truck on the farm. We had a little ranch, and with some acreage on it, so I could go out there and not hit anything. And I learned how to start hooking up the stuff to the tractors. And he used to let me drive tractors all the time. And then one day I ripped off the back of his tailgate, ran it into a plow, trying to back up the pull, and shoved it. It went right through the damn gate. When I took off, the gate came off with it. I thought for sure my ass was beat. But he was pretty laid back about it. I was surprised.
Hey,
he really was. Yeah, but anyway, getting back to what we're talking about. So I mean, you have all these cases. So what this prompted with us, once we realized what was going on here, we started checking hotspots around the United States to see if people were being called to other places in the United States. And guess what? They are.
Were.
And some of the places are very interesting. So people always
it's like salmon. They're compelled to go to a particular area year after year, day after, or whatever it is, however many times they go.
As far as I know, we're the only organization that ever actually came out and said not everyone is abducted from their car or their home. They could be abducted from anywhere, and some people are being brought in so they could be mass done. And that made sense to me. So all these people that we're talking about were from different states. None of them were from Florida, and a lot of them weren't even from close by. They were from all over the place. So here you've got 50, 60, 100 people from different parts of the world. That means you'd have to go to each one of them to abduct them with different time zones. Here you got them all in one time zone, all in one place.
And no one expects them to be anywhere because they're on vacation.
That's right.
So
if something goes a little funky,
the cops aren't called, and that's probably why no one's missing them, so they can be gone for 2-3 days. I wouldn't say more than a weekend. That might cause suspicion, but it's a brilliant plan.
It works, and I don't know what it is, and it's a strange thing. It's but we busted those cases, and that's how it ended up about how they found out that Linda and I had lost 11 days down in Florida, actually 10 days down in Florida.
Yeah,
and that was that whole trip was weird because we met the people from Unsolved Mysteries, we met the UFO people, we met the mayor of Bay St. Louis and the one from Pensacola because they were all out there on that bridge that night looking for UFOs when they filmed that underwater thing, and then it came out the water and all that gold shit dropped off of it. That was witnessed by over 500 people and 3 different media companies.
Yeah.
Never seen it on any of those media companies, by the way. Matter of fact, when I was asking people, did you get a picture? Most people didn't even snap a picture.
Because
they were just stunned. Yeah, they were stunned.
The
guy says, The guy said, "You got anything?" I said, "I turned on my video camera, and when I seen the green thing in the water, followed it all the way across, all the way up, and all the way out. And then I flipped the thing open and said, let's see what we got. Oh, how cute! There was stuff in the picture, just not it.
Yeah.
You could see the buoys. You could see the red and green buoy markers or channel markers flashing. You could see underneath the bridge. You could see all the
You
way
were
out to
too
the
close.
spot.
Their propulsion just fuzzed your
So
camera.
we didn't get on that, but neither did anybody else. But then everybody seen it and it made the next day's paper and Golf Breeze, and everybody wrote about it and talked about it. And then I ran into them at the Sand Dollar Hotel. They were staying there. Our first night, that's where we were staying. And then the next night, we stayed for the first week we were there. We stayed at a different hotel each night, going down the Panhandle. And then we got to Opal Beach, which doesn't exist anymore because one of the hurricanes wiped it out. We found this little hotel on the beach, Opal Beach Hotels. When you walked out our back door, you were standing in the sand, and the water was maybe 80 feet away. And it was a great place. So we checked in. I checked in, I think, for originally checked in for 7 days. But we stayed the first day. I said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead. This is how long our vacation is. I said, I'll check in for 10 days because we needed a day to get home. So I went ahead and did it. These people to this very day swear from the day we checked in until the day I came to pay them more money, no one was in that hotel room. The maid said every day it was clean. No one had slept in it. He said the suitcases weren't even open. They were sitting on the beds. And in all fairness, I had no charges on my credit cards. I had spent no cash, and there was no extra mileage on my gas and on my car at all. It's like we checked in, we checked out,
Disappeared.
put us back in. And but that whole thing was weird because, I mean, 2 nights earlier, a dolphin had swum in between Linda's legs trying to pull her along. And then that same night when all this happened, or when we think this happened, we had encountered a dolphin. And we knew there was something odd up because I still remember this like yesterday when like we woke up. I don't know how to explain it. Linda was like 100 yards away from me. My son, who was 2.5 at the time, was 50 yards in between. That wouldn't have happened. No effing way, no effing how. It just wouldn't have happened. And you could see us both running towards the kid because we were like, what the hell? We never let that little demon get more than 10 feet from us because he was a demon. He was a terror, man. I had him out there catching crabs with me one night. He had a ball. And that was the other thing that was weird. The owner of the hotel asked me what had happened, and I told him I have no clue. He gave us another 6 nights for free. He said, well, would you like to stay? I was like, and at that point, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to stay here another 6 nights. But we did, and we had a great vacation.
Yeah.
And but the funny part was, under hypnosis, there's memories. So whatever was implanted to take up those 10 days was there, but somehow or another we had worked past it. I guess once we realized that we'd actually been gone, those memories didn't matter to us anymore because we knew they weren't real. So we just kind of flushed them out of our heads.
Mm-hmm.
But there were so many of these cases like this down there. I hate talking about my own, but it's the easiest one to explain because it's the one I know the best. But there's so many of them that just 4 or 5 days, dozen days, nobody's around. 2 days, nobody's around. We've got them as short as 2 days and as long as 14 days. And all of them, somehow or another, I guess ET made it happen this way because they were just shy of the length of the vacation, usually like a day or two shy of the length of the vacation. So they knew how long you were going to be there. And I guess they knew what your itinerary was because you were gone. And when you get in those people's heads, there's not 14 days of memories, but there's 50, 60, 70, 80 hours worth easy. So at least part of that time they were conscious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, guys, that's an Eglin Air Force Base is right there. So, if they've got a thing with Eglin, Eglin's 880 square miles.
Well, and I don't know how familiar the audience is with hypnotic regression. It's hard because a lot of times the aliens, they do put blocks in the mind there, and it's hard to get through these false memories and lost time, if you want to call it that as well. The best example is if anyone's familiar with the old MASH TV show, there's one episode that's Hawkeye centric, and he's on a bus with a bunch of Koreans that are um, uh, they're escaping their village, and they're on one of the buses trying to be evacuated, but they're under fire, so they have to remain quiet so that the North Koreans don't come and kill them. And at the beginning of the story, Hawkeye says, make the whatever it is stop making noise. So the first thing is a chicken, then the next time it's like a dog or a cat that is making noise and is jeopardizing everyone on the bus's lives. And at the end, he can make another animal. And at the end, when he finally breaks down, when he's talking to the psychiatrist of the show, he finally says it was a baby, a newborn baby that was crying, and he watched the mother go and kill it so that they would not be killed by the troops that were around them trying to look for them and kill them. Very sad episode, but that's how you have to get into progressive hypnotic regression. You have to find the false memory, and then through suggestive questioning, get further and further and wipe that veil away till they can remember what they actually saw, what they actually heard, not what was planted in front of them while they were being experimented on. It's very hard.
I specialize in that, but
Very hard.
when I first got into hypnosis, it's like almost 46 years ago, 47 years ago. I had learned a lot. And what got me into it was the Navy, because I remember my first day in boot camp in San Diego. This guy came in and hypnotized there was like 160 of us that just came in. And, you don't know what to expect. You get ready to be in boot camp, you're in the military, you hear all kind of horror stories. And then, when you're riding with guys on the planes, they're just talking shit the whole time. They come in, and believe it or not, all 160 of us, including myself, are all like, yeah, this is cool, very relaxed. Guy, I don't know how he did. He did a really good job. Everybody did their stuff and went to wherever they had to go. Just so at 5 or 4 that morning, you could hear somebody throwing a garbage can down the hallway to wake your ass up. So when I first got it, because, the organization itself has always been a little anti-hypnosis. And the reason why is we prefer to recover memories naturally, but it's not always possible. And the reason, though, that we're anti-hypnosis is because it's easy to add memories to someone's brain if you don't know what you do.
Or to blur memories they already have to become what the answers are that you're looking for.
The hardest thing to teach people is you can't use words like alien or extraterrestrial or spacecraft or UFOs or flying saucers. You can't use any of that. They have to use that themselves. All you can say is, okay, so you're telling me about this event on January 20th of 1960. Can you go into detail and tell me what exactly happened? And you just let them talk. The first time, you don't even really need to say anything. Just let them talk the whole time. After you pick the experience, then you can come back and work backwards with it and say, let's look at this, or let's look at this, or let's look at this. This seems to be out of place, or this seems to be out of place. Let's see if we can do a workaround and get around it. Because what I learned was there's a theory I use where I bring you down a ladder, basically. First, I take you on a little walk on the beach and get you nice and relaxed and let you see it and put you in the fog and then this little thing. Anyway, I get you to a certain point. And each step of the ladder is a run down. So I'll bring you down about 5 runs. And then that's a fairly medium hypnosis where you're still somewhat aware of your surroundings, but not completely. You're more in tune to what's going on in your head than out of your head. So once I get them there, I can walk them down to the thing, put them on a platform and say, okay, we're going to put this spinning device in front of your face. And as it spins around, you're going to see pictures of different things that's happened in your life. So all you need to do is touch them and it will open up and it will expand into your memory and you can see it all. And you can start from middle, back, front, wherever you want to start is where you can start from. It's a really good technique. So what I started doing is once I found what I thought was the cover memory, I would bring someone around the back of the cover memory and up through it. So instead of working the cover memory through their cells, I would just basically push it out of the way and let them see what was there. It's hard to explain, but when you hear me do it, you'll understand what's going on. But it works really well. And I know a couple people who tried to recruit me to use it because cover memories are a bitch. When you try to get in a cover memory in the beginning, you're just doing damage.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm a force. Well, you're not forcing. Maybe if it's a government covering, you might force your way through. If it's an alien, so you're not forcing your way through
You're
that.
not getting. Yeah, you're not going to get
You,
past.
you got to get it out of the way or go underneath it or move around it. And sometimes ET leaves a back door. Sometimes they'll leave a spot where while you're watching, you'll see, well, wait a minute, what's that? You'll see a glimpse of something else. And then you can go through that door and it usually goes into the memory. But they only do that with contactees, I think, that they feel are ready to discuss this. Anybody they feel that this is going to do damage to, they lock it down pretty tight. I mean, you can get in, but just, it's better to let that stuff come out on its own. It usually is easier for the contactee, and it's less damaging for the contactee emotionally, mentally, physically. Not just them. I mean, when contactees lose it, they can do damage to themselves, their property, their friends, their family. So it's just easier sometimes to do it like that. Government ones are a lot easier to break, which get you in trouble for doing it in the first place. But hey, they are a lot easier.
They follow the exact same certain pattern. The alien abductions have changed decade to decade.
Yeah, they do change.
Like if you look at some of the old ancient art, the abductions were carried out in broad daylight, and they didn't care if anyone saw. There's several paintings, oil paintings of a silvery or golden craft with a beam of light and a figure floating in the air. Where is he going?
Mm-hmm.
It's not an accident of the painter of a perspective. There's someone's floating up.
Well, Christian Weston, who does hypnosis for a living, he's like it's almost like ET knows it's going to be you, and they're leaving a doorway for you. He said, "I've never seen this work for anybody else like this." I said, "Maybe so." I said, "I know we can get through a lot of cover memories." I said, "But I always warn everybody the same thing: once you open them, there ain't no putting them back. That's it; they're out, and you got to deal with them from that point forward." And the reason I warn people is because you don't always find alien abduction. So just recently, I was doing a case where I asked a woman to tell me about the most horrific thing that, the worst thing that happened to her. And matter of fact, I was hypnotizing one of Michelle's friends, and she also did the same thing. She went back to a part in her life that had nothing to do with alien abduction. It was an event that happened with her husband. With the other lady, it was an event that happened with her mother. So those events were more intense than the alien abduction. Okay, that's hard to believe. I don't care what event it is. Even losing a parent still is not the same as being taken by aliens and having weird, crazy experiments done to you and your kids. So the lightness of the contact made me think that maybe it's not quite what it seems. So, and then you got to get into other kinds of investigations. Well, Jimmy, sometimes there's plants. Sometimes Uncle Men in Black like to plant people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, they're not contactees; they're plants, and they're looking to find out things that they can't find out any other way but to be a contactee. But we don't share. I mean, we share. ICAR shares 50% of all its data, and the other 50% is kept top secret. And the reason why is if it gets out, anyone will never be able to tell who's a contactee and who's not. If you had that much information about this, there would be no way of knowing. You could easily outfake anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, no, we use voice stress and polygraphs. Well, I do voice stress because I have a degree in voice stress, but we also use polygraphs too.
And if anyone's gone through any criminal justice courses or thought of becoming a policeman or has become a policeman, there are certain ways of questioning people where you suggest that the way you word the question, it's hard to describe. The way it suggests a question, the way the question works, it kind of forces the person to give the correct answer to it, because there really is only one. It's like yes, no's, and that kind of thing. But it's more advanced than that. But also, one of the key tells when detectives are interviewing someone in the interview room, when they give their answer, if they're looking to the left while they're giving their answer, they're lying because they're looking for ideas and excuses and things to put into that answer. If their face stays straight or they look up or right, they're probably telling the truth. But that doesn't always work. Some guys know how to cheat the system.
Yeah.
Some can cheat the lie detector system. Some can't.
It's funny, but certain ways you hold your face, certain ways your mouth tilts, certain ways your eyes tilt. All of that means something, guys. All of that does. So Okay, I'll tell that story, Pete. But okay. I learned voice stress analysis, facial recognition, and body language not for alien abduction stuff. It's not the reason I learned it. So I was working for a company. I was very good at catching thieves. And I remember this. This was so funny. I went to apply for this job for a GM job. I walked in, and the guy had to go do something. He was reviewing videotapes, VHS. And I'm watching the tape, and I'm like seeing like 5 thieves. So I got the tape on high. I'm going through it. I'm catching, looking at it. Oh, I said, look at these thieving bastards. So I rewind it to where it was. He comes in. I said, man, any luck? Because I rewind it all the way to the beginning and watch it through. And it's an 8-hour tape, and I watched it in all about 20 minutes. And I'd already seen like 4 thieves in the first 30 or 40 minutes, the first 2 hours where he headed it. So you catch anybody yet? Have any luck? He's like, no. It seems like they're pretty honest. I said, really? And he kind of looked at me like, what do you mean? I said, dude, I don't want to tell you this, but I went through your tape. I said, I went through this part to 6 hours. I said, I've seen several people there stealing. And I said, that 2 hours you've already been through, I've caught at least 4 people, maybe 5 stealing. He's like, no, man, I'm really good at this. He said, you did that on high speed? I'm like, yeah. I said, actually, it's easier in high speed because weird actions stand out in high speed, whereas they don't stand out as much in slow speed. I should have told y'all that. But so anyway, I said, here, let me show you right quick. And I go through. And I said, see this guy? I said, you see how he pushed it aside and then slid his hand, went under the register, not in the register. He's like, son of a bitch. And I showed him. He's like, so I went through the whole tape with him. He's like, well, you're hired, but I'm not hiring you as a GM, dude. He said, you got a much better job. He said, you're going to be in charge of catching thieves and security. And so they would dress me up real fancy. I'd go work in the stores with people and stuff. Go be like the assistant or one of the clerks or something. I was busting people left and right because your biggest thief in all stores is almost always the manager. They're the ones that can do the most damage. Clerks can steal. They can steal, but the manager is the one who has control.
A till or a drawer, what holds maybe when they first get it a couple $100, they can walk out.
And then you can steal some product, a Coke, cigarettes, whatever, saws and stuff. But the guy who can get the real money is not the guy working on the floor. Yeah, sorry. But it's just business. But anyway, because of that, they sent me to school to learn facial recognition. Then they bought me facial recognition software. And then he said, body language would be really good for that. And I said, my stepfather had been teaching me voice stress. He said, really? Okay. So they sent me to school for voice stress. Well, I actually learned from a state trooper first. That's who I learned it from. And the school just enforced what the trooper had already taught. The trooper was actually better than the teacher I had. I know a lot. But I had all of this. So when I started doing UFO stuff, it was just perfect for me. Plus, in the Navy, I had aircraft recognition, advanced avionics and electronics. Yeah, I'm probably the only ufologist that actually has a pedigree to hunt down UFOs and talk to people who have seen things. I don't think anybody else in the field, everybody's got like weird, I got a college degree in English, or I got a college degree in history or American. I mean, really.
In their defense, most of those guys are just strictly researchers and writers.
That's true. Most of them are research and writers. But not today. They're not. Now they say they're, full-fledged investigators and stuff. And I even noticed a few of them now have said they have had contacts.
It's research. I'm not working for any, alphabet soup organization. I don't have a badge. All right, I do have a couple of guns, but I don't carry them with me everywhere. And I don't have the power of arrest. So it's not an investigation. In my opinion, the ghost and goblins paranormal side of things, that's not 100% proven yet. But to me, the UFO things, it's debunked. It's real. It's 100%. There's no faking this. It's not government my labs. It's not hallucinations, mass hallucinations, or holograms. There are legitimately outer space alien creatures interacting with this planet. It's been, in my opinion, since I was like 7 or 8, an actual known fact. But most people just fight the idea. You can't get around it. The evidence is overwhelming. Why the U.S. government is one of the few holdouts. You have to talk to those dark programs, the Magic 12 guys and the Jason Society people and the Bilderbergers. Probably that's Europe ends of it, but
that's funny.
They know a lot more than they're letting on. They really, really do.
Just recently, the Rothschilds contacted me to ask me if I'd like to join their little band of merry men. Then I was like, and I started laughing because, I'm poor. I mean, I'm not poor, but I'm poor. And I'm like, and what could I possibly do for you? He said, well, you're very useful, Mr. Montalvo. I'm like, really? He said, yes. He said, you've got a lot of good qualities and a lot of things. And he said, you're a really good spokesperson as well. And I was like, yeah. And I said, and why would y'all be interested in me? I said, what kind of job are we talking about here? Oh, not a job. Maybe a member. Well, the only group I know they're associated with is the Illuminati. Said. Well, I said, well, you know what? I think we'll stay clear. I said, I'm already a Mason. I don't need to be a Mason / Illuminati. I said, I don't think that's going to work out real well. And then he tells me, and that's what's so funny. He goes, well, I heard you had declined your Mason seat. I said, yeah, but I left it open for my son and my grandson. I think you're allowed to go 4 before they give it away. No, my dad was a big Mason. Yeah, he's way the hell up there. But I wasn't interested when he passed away. I'm still not interested. I just, it's too much hooga mooga for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of ritual. I mean, my buddy and I, we joined the Fraternal Order of Eagles. Not nearly as prestigious as the Masons, but the same idea. It's a private club, private booze and food, and it's cheap per month. And the only reason why we did it was because Montgomery County, where we were living at the time, it was the cheapest beer in town, A, and B, very soon it was going to be illegal to smoke in bars and restaurants. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll join with you. So he was already a member. I joined up, and you have a magnetic card to open up a permanently locked door. You get a $2 draft beer or a $3.50 mixed drink or a $1 glass of wine. You can't beat it.
Ah, that's a good deal.
You really cannot beat it.
What do you mean, Stephanie? I should have joined. I could still join. No, I don't want to be. Well, the Rothschilds was tempting because I figured I could get some money out of that.
Oh yeah,
it's
Think about the networking and jobs you could get.
I don't want to be beholden to anybody. I've managed to get this through my life this long without having to be beholden to anybody, and I'd like to keep it that way. If something changes, you never know. Life changes sometimes. Maybe they'll offer me something I'm interested in. If you're going to offer me something like that, then you need to offer me something more than that. Like, hey, we want you to be doing this for us or that for us. Don't come at me. don't come at me like, well, we want you to join, but we don't want to tell you what we want you to do. That bullshit on that. Mm-hmm. Just keep that to yourself.
That's the worst kind of job interview.
Actually, it was funny because I had 3 different Rothschilds contact. So I gave it to somebody else. I said, this is bullshit. And they checked into it and found that it was not bullshit.
Oh, wow.
Yes, one of the old guys, too. One of the really old guys. Well, one of them just passed away. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do?
Well, we were actually talking about this at work, that we're at a point where there's almost going to be a generational change where certain old money is going to be passed down to the next generation because they're dying off. And the guy I was talking with, I forget who it was at work, but he was extremely enthusiastic about the fact that when this happens, everybody's going to get a raise. I'm like, well, that'd be good.
That would be good. With the Dean, well, if they would offer me a job dealing with UFOs or something like that, I would jump on.
I would take one too. Absolutely. I mean, if Prometheus called me and said, "Hey, Tsoukalos left the show. Do you want to narrate it?" Yes, sir. Sign me up.
The lady, I should say, the group that I testified in front of, which was in the skiff. Well, the skiff can mean a lot of things. In this case, it meant a locked room with all kinds of surveillance and electronic measures to keep anybody from listening. And I was being polygraphed the entire time. It was my idea, actually. They sent someone over from Conoco. It was my idea. I said, if I'm going to do this, then I don't want to be being questioned later on, were you telling the truth or lying? Let's just hook me up to a polygraph and be done with it. How much did they pay me? They didn't pay me anything. Not like what you're thinking. Well, they have to pay me for my time, doofus. But not anything that's going to make me change what I believe in or what I know. That's not going to happen. I'm not that cheap. And they weren't offering that kind of money, so... What do you mean, why did they ask me? The first letter I had gotten was, would you like to speak in front of Congress? And I was like, And they're like, why not? I said, because I have to
Did
make a
anyone
living.
capture an image of your face when you read that? Because I would have been like, my
No,
jaw would have been on the floor.
I was like, no. And they were like, why not? And then we talked for about an hour. And I was like, nah, I'm not interested. I'm sorry. And then this lady who I believe she was a senator and black haired, good looking woman, probably in her late 40s, early 50s. And she goes, I can't tell y'all her name. I'd get in trouble. But she goes, well, how about in private? And she said, this is what we pay you for being gone for this many days. I said, that's fine. And she said, but in private. And I said, okay. And then the next day they would call me about setting up the arrangements. And that's when I asked her, I said, well, look, I was talking to her aide. I said, can I talk to her right quick? Just tell us real quick. I won't take a lot of time. She's really busy. And she pops on the phone. I said, why don't we go ahead and set up a polygraph ahead of time? And I said, just leave it hooked up the entire time we're talking. And she said, you'd really do that? I'm like, well, we want the truth, right? And I said, wouldn't it make it easier for you to believe what's coming out of my mouth if I was hooked up to a polygraph? I said, because some of the stuff I'm going to say, you're going to be like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And
he's lying.
yeah. And there was times when she looked over at the polygrapher and she'd look at me like, and she'd look over the polygrapher like, and he'd like, and she's like, no. So I remember when we went to lunch the first day, because it was a 12-hour session the first day. And we go to lunch. So she's standing there. I'm sitting in there. They catered lunch in is what they did actually. And because they didn't want anybody going anywhere. So they catered really good lunch. I ain't gonna lie. They had nice ribeyes. Anyway, enough about that. It was good. I was just saying, it was a good lunch.
But he's hungry.
That's true too. But so she's over there talking to the polygrapher, and he's like, no, he hasn't lied about anything. She said, let me show you this. She said, look at this line. He said, he's calm, he's cool, he's collect, he's not lying to you. And so he comes over, he said, come here for a minute. He said, sit down. He said, tell me a lie. I said, you're so sexy, I want to kiss you. And he went, he said, damn it, I was hoping you were telling the truth. And she just started laughing. She said, well, let me ask you a question. Tell me a lie. And I told her. And she's like, son of a bitch, it works. I'm like, yeah. I said, I'm not lying to you. I said, you're Congress. Why would I lie? I said, this is, first off, I said, it's kind of a fantasy of mine to be sitting here anyway. I said, secondly, I said, it does you no good for me to come in here and lie. I said, this will help you in the future to determine questions you want to ask from so-called leakers. I said, and the best part is you don't even have to say where you got the information from. All you know is it's true. But it was crazy because I would say there was 12, 14 people, military people there, probably from the Pentagon. I know a couple were definitely from there. I would say I recognize at least 6 senators and about 8 House reps. But altogether, there was about 45, 50 people, and there was no press whatsoever. Zero. There wasn't even any aides in the room. They would call them in when they needed them. So I was kind of impressed with the group that was there. And what was funny is that every night you'd see one of the military guys go. And the guy's like, and you'd see the senator lady go, excuse me, what are you two talking about? Would you like to share with the rest of the room? Sound like a bunch of 12-year-olds. And they're like, they can't decide whether I just said it was true or not.
So
Actually,
how did they find out to even ask you to come testify at Congress?
I run the largest UFO organization in the world.
Okay. So that's why I said if they had called me, I'd be shocked. I mean, the one story I have is that I was talking about the subject in depth at a bar in Savannah, Georgia, with a couple of friends, and then at 3:00 the bar closed. We all went home, and I was harassed on the phone from someone in Chicago. Not just my cell phone, but my landline. The guy called me on both, and I actually called the cops. And I don't remember if it was a state trooper or a county sheriff. But while I was talking to the sheriff, the guy called again. I said, "This is him," and the cop said, "Pick it up." And I said, "Okay." And he started threatening me again in a non-threatening way. It's weird how government spooks will threaten your life without threatening it.
Mm-hmm.
And the officer, he started threatening the officer to me through the phone. I'm like, what? And the officer says, let me talk to him. And I'm like, you sure? So I handed the officer my cell phone. It's one of those big Motorola's. And the officer's like, really? Oh, well, here's my address. Blah, blah, blah. And he gave him his barracks address. Come on down. I'm ready. Hung up on the dude. I was like, dude, wow, he threatened you too? He's like, yeah. I'm like, and
You get people like that.
90s and I was in a bar with my friends. There were nobody else in there but locals. How did some spook know that I was talking UFOs for 3 hours at the bar?
Because you're tagged.
Of course, my father was in top secret work at that time still. So
They're funny. You know, and they never did tell me why they actually. I will tell you this: I was told that several people inside the group had recommended me. Now, I've been threatened many times over the years. It's not that uncommon for someone who talks alien abductions like I do not to be threatened. But in all fairness, they never really threatened me. They threatened like my kid or my wife. They threatened my dog one time. I was like, "Really? You're going to shoot my dog?" I said, "I will shoot you in the head if you shoot my dog. You know that, right?"
yeah.
And I said, because she's not going to let you just walk out of my house without barking. And I said, I'm going to shoot you if you're in my yard. It clearly says no trespassers allowed. Violators will be shot. Because in Mississippi, if you got that up there, you can shoot somebody. And Louisiana, too, for that matter. So I was like.
In Texas, if I think you own over an acre or you have even just one like plow animal, like a horse or a cow, anyone on your property is fair game. You don't have to post.
Yeah. It's kind of funny the way it works, but.
Yeah.
No, so Jesse, getting back to what I was saying, it was so I got the first time I got the call. It's kind of like when Senator McDonald called me that time when about that TR3. I was kind of like, what, whatever, and I hung up. Actually, I thought it was some internet scammer,
Yeah.
and it rang back instantly. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, don't be bugging me. I'm not falling for your bullshit. And she goes, well, don't hang up. Let me tell you who I am. And she starts telling me. See such and such age. I'm like, so what does that got to do with me? And she said, well, your name has come up on giving testimony. I said, why? I don't chase UFOs. And she said, well, I think they want to talk to you about something else. I'm like what? I said, I don't chase UFOs. I said, lights in the sky is not my thing. Go talk to Stephen Bissett. That's exactly what I said too.
Or Jim Marsh.
I said, and she's like, you know Stephen, right? I'm like, yeah, Stephen's a good guy. I said, I've worked with him on and off over the years. And I said, I know quite a few of these people. And then she asked me about an individual and what I thought about him. And I said, well, I think he's a fraud, but I'm not going to get into that. And she said, well, apparently you're not the only one that feels that way. But anyway, she said, your name had been brought up by a couple of people. Apparently you've been tossed around in some of the alphabet organizations a couple of times, which I have no doubt about that. And she said, we would like you to come in and give sworn testimony on what you know about certain things. And she listed off a whole list of things, none which had anything to do with flying UFOs in the sky, by the way. And I said, maybe. And she said, well, they're going to pay you for your time. I said, well, that's that. I said, oh, and that's when she said on a public stand. That's when I said no. I'm like, no, sorry. And then they called me back and asked me to do it. And that's when we discussed the thing about the having an agent there or having somebody who did polygraphs. The whole thing was so weird, and it was so weird watching their faces because they'd asked me a particular question. She outright asked me this question about alien abduction, and when I told her, her eyes was like, I'm like, they like this. They look like them Japanese cartoons you see. I mean, they were like, and she's looking at the guy like this, and he's like, and the guy from the military guy's going, he's like, he walked over and pulled the sheet out, and he's like, shit. And then you hear the other two guys go, well, I didn't know anything about any of this. How does he know this? And then you hear the other lady go, well, obviously he's been chasing this a lot longer than you have been. And then somebody said something smart. And I said, the problem is y'all are too compartmentalized. That's why you don't know what he's been doing with him or her or that one or this one or this one. I said, but what you don't understand is I do, because I know that one, this one, that one, and this one. I said, so, I get this point, this point, and this point, and I can put these 4 points in myself. And they're like, oh, I'm like, yeah.
The other hard part about it is the compartmentalization is that through each departments that it's gone through, it's less and less. Some have more than others. The ones that have the most are currently, in my opinion, is the U.S. Navy or Naval Intelligence for one. And number 2 is the Majestic or Magic 12 group that started in 47. I don't remember what they're called now, but
Yeah, they got a whole new name now. I wish I knew,
yeah,
but
they changed their name somewhere in the 70s. I think at one point they might have even been tied in or even associated with the name Jason Society. I'm not certain on that.
well,
But
I know they use what's his name.
the U.S. Navy, the Office of Naval Intelligence (ONI), and the Magic 12, whatever that is, they have the bulk of the information, but they only sliver it out to other, maybe 20 or 30 top military contractors.
And then the other problem is they don't have any legit contactees. They don't have a database. What they don't have is that base of contactees where they can do a comparison study. That's what they don't have. What they've got is a story here, story there, story here, story there. Some are believable, some are not. But they don't have, and neither does MUFON. MUFON was telling the guy, "Oh, I said, you got bullshit." I said, if you've got 200 cases at MUFON, I'll kiss your ass. Real cases. And I said, I don't want to hear that. I said, y'all, as far as most of us are concerned, y'all are a defunct organization. There's too much black ops involvement. We know John Sluishenstand. We know what his ties are. We know you still tied in with a couple of the others. I said, we don't really, And every time they get some kind of TV thing going, it collapses for some reason. I don't know what that is. I was thinking about the organization itself. Our organization should do a monthly alien abduction reenactment. Now that we got AI, we might be able to do it.
Yeah.
I'm bringing 2 narrators for the whole event. Do it right up to what we want the AI to make it into and let it make it into it. Well, that's a good idea. We might have to do that. Oh, there's a damn alien right there.
There's
furry one, too.
Kitty Blackmore.
It's a furry alien.
Oh, she's a fuzzy one.
What do you mean? You don't think there's no Chewbacca aliens? Who wrote that?
Who said that? Where do you think he got the idea from?
I would think there's probably
there are 2 inspirations for Chewbacca. One is the actual creature known as Bigfoot, which could be Gigantopithecus or Australopithecus. It's probably a human offshoot, natural Earth-only being. It's not extraterrestrial. It doesn't travel through space or dimensional portals, and it doesn't disappear, and it smells like hell. Then I forget the name of it, but there is a creature that is technologically advanced, may have cloaking technology like the Predator, may have that on their ships as well, but they travel by traditional method from point A to point B. They don't just pop in and out of this dimension, but they are tall, hairy creatures with their own, rudimentary language, I'm sure, but they're like Chewbacca for real.
Yeah, what's that, Danny? I'll stay away from the Bigfoot thing. There's too many Bigfoot hunters in Louisiana down there in the Sabine River Basin. They love them down there. I would shoot the damn thing and have him on a barbecue pit in 25 minutes. Why? To me, he'd just be a big hairy bear or something. Don't be walking around the Sabine River Basin with all these idiots with guns. Is all I can tell you.
With dreadlocks.
Yeah, I know, huh? I don't know. No one's ever been able to shoot a Bigfoot. Maybe they're immune to bullets.
There was the fake one outside of Atlanta 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Who was the one in? Yeah, I remember that one. And then the one in what was it, Oregon?
His refrigerator in his backyard for a week in a block of ice. Give me a break.
Oh yeah, and then there's the burrito guy. You know, remember? Where's the burrito guy? Was in Arizona. He had the grays in the deep freeze in his house.
Oh yeah,
they had him wrapped up in a rug.
The gray fur.
Yeah, he had him wrapped up in a rug, and they got termed the burrito alien. I guess because it looked like a burrito when they took it out. No, he had it in deep freeze. Remember, it was frozen like a rock. No, it wasn't an alien. It didn't turn out to be an alien. Because I don't think the Greys reptilians are humans or like us. So we know, like right now, we've got hostages being held overseas. I don't think the Greys would permit that. I think they would come get their people. And in most cases, we would come get our people. Just for some reason, this particular president don't want to. But it's like if we lose a craft behind enemy lines, we either go in and destroy it or we go in and get it.
Although at some point there was an exchange of, I guess, ambassadorship. Forget, it's before the 70s, 60s, I think maybe. 12 hand-picked scientists, military and civilian personnel. 12 of them were hand-selected and trained to go with one particular alien species, the Greys, and they exchanged one of theirs for 12 of ours, and that was after EBE-1 passed, and he was called EBE-2, and I think he passed in 57, about 5 or 6 years later.
That's it. No, they ate them 12. Yeah, they were delicious. I heard.
But that is a not fully vetted story, but it's the inspiration for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Steven Spielberg.
What is that, Jacqueline? There was a lot of them stories that are just quite not. It's hard because the Greys, one, why would they leave one of their people here with us? And two, why wouldn't they just rotate them out and pick them up from time to time? Because they're here all the freaking time.
The story that this was in the Blue Planet Project books that I'd read years ago. I finally got them on Kindle app in my phone. The story goes from the Reagan briefing that 47, the one sole alien that survived until 1953, I believe he said. At that point, he was able to, while he was in captivity, fix a communications device to contact his homeworld, who came for him, but he had passed. So a deal had been struck somehow with the U.S. government that they would come back and take 12 humans and leave another advisor. And another 9 months went by, and that happened. 12 of us exchanged for one of them. He became EBE-2. And then in 57, he passed. And I'm not sure when the next one came, but he came of his own volition, no exchange of humans. The 12 that had gone to the Greys Zeta Reticuli system, one died in transit, 11 made it there, 10 came back, one stayed. And that's the story that they gave to Reagan. And then the third one, he became known as Jared or Gerard, and he hung out at Area 51 and Area 6, Sector 4 or S4 until either he passed or left the world after about 15, 20 years, allegedly.
Well, even if they pass, they don't pass. As long as there's a nearby
they may have
ship.
Download, but they still do come for the remains.
Yeah, they do. They
yes, they do.
There's something about it. I don't. It's not so much that they're worried about what we're going to learn from them. I don't think. I think it's just the way they are.
It may be a Borg-like thing. It may be more better for them to have the actual body. Maybe they can get more information that the download doesn't have. So it.
Okay, guys. I'm sorry, Jay. I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't realize we're 26 minutes past 8.
Oh gosh.
Michelle, that's why we don't hear from Michelle, because she's on air right now. It's just gonna kick our asses. She already said I'm gonna have to fire Jay if he didn't straighten up. I always blame it on Jay. She's like, "Well, I said it's Jay's fault. You know that, Michelle. He's bad. He don't listen."
It's not our fault. We get into these deep.
I said, you know, he co-hosts with that. I said he co-hosts with Jeffrey, who's a bad influence. Bad influence. She's like, whatever. What is that? What? Cat? I don't understand that question. It's like jibber jabber going across my screen. Quick, if you get it in quick, I'll answer it. But no. So, excuse me. Go to www.icar1.com. It'll bring you to the site. Somewhere on there is a thing to fill out to join the organization. If you can't find it for some reason, take one of the gray reptilians or human thing and fill out the first part, just the information part. Unless you're a contactee, then you can fill out the whole thing. Yeah. But wherever you send them, make sure they're going to icarcox.net. Well, we're in the middle of redoing that site. Well, we're not even started. Let me retract that. We're not even started it yet, so we're in the middle of doing the other site.
The site still, for the most part, works, but there are some dead links.
And we're missing some stuff like I didn't see Peter Davenport's stuff there. We usually carry his stuff. So that you can link directly to his site where he's got every state in the union. I miss Larry Hatch. Whoever posted it, I miss Larry. I wish he'd come back. He had the best maps I've ever seen. They went all the way back to 40, all the way up to 2005, I think it was. You could overlap them, you could side them. Anytime there was an abduction in certain areas, we could stack the maps to see if there was a line, and there was. You could even see how they were crossing the oceans. They used particular routes to cross the oceans. Oh yes, he outed them in a lot of things. You could see there was a pass they took across our country, across Europe, across the oceans. There were 5 or 6 different ones. It was great stuff. He never would give us permission to use them. I asked him and asked him and asked him, and he pretty much told me, you know what? They were great. You can still find bits and pieces of them out there. Yeah, you can, but
there's a video you can maybe get. It was the 80s. Might have been 79, but early 80s. Mike Farrell from the TV show MASH, synchronicity, I guess, with MASH tonight. He hosted a show. It was like a 2-hour or 3-hour, like it was almost like the old marathon type TV shows or PBS when they're trying to get money, but it was on UFOs. And they did a couple of things. One was they had a survey that they had found somewhere in the 50s about whether they thought aliens were coming here, and that survey determined maybe 12 races of aliens. And then they did one for the show that they said maybe 6 or 7 or 10 at the most. So kind of not that drastic, but they took a map of UFO sightings of the USA and they overlaid that with the map of Bigfoot sightings in the USA, and they lined up almost perfectly, pixel dot for dot, almost identically. And it was at that point when the research, as I've been researching it, that's when it flipped. All of a sudden now Bigfoot he's an interdimensional being that walks through the clouds and can disappear through portals and disappear in front of your eyes. Hogwash, I say still, but
there's a lot of that bullshit going on.
But that's when the paradigm shift is right then. But if you search, go to IMDb.com and search Mike Farrell. They probably have that ABC special or CBS special, NBC special. I forget what network. And you could probably find a copy of it either at a UFO convention or online, maybe even Amazon. You never know. It was amazing. It blew my mind, that map.
There's what's that, Jimmy? There's a lot of good stuff out there. Hold on. We're going to show this because somebody asked me, and then we're going to get out of here. Where is StreamYard? Present. Share screen. Okay, there you go. That's a UFO sighting picture thingy that was taken by Jason Wilson back in. I have to go look it up and see, but it's on here somewhere. I don't know where it's at. Oh, there it is, right there, 2004. There you go, March. So you see this. Somebody asked me, so you see anything in this? Now, we didn't see anything here when we took this picture. This was taken, and we'll see the camera. It's a Nikon camera. It's digital, by the way. So if you look, you'll see what looks to be a disc or a dropa stone, if you want to call it that.
Yes, it's very dropa stone-ish.
Yeah, it's got a center, and you'll see that in a minute. And there's also smoke coming out of the stack being pulled and bent over to this thing. And right here is a dot, which is a UFO. But anyway, let's scroll down where everything can be seen better. Now here's the circle. This is all zoomed in.
It's almost like the surface of the moon. But weirdly, it looks like the same bottom of the ships from Independence Day, the first one.
It does, kind of. So when you look at this, so what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen, is this is a solid object that this smoke, because this thing must be moving a little bit, has been drawn to and has covered so that you can see it.
Yeah.
This was not intentional by any means. And what's going on here?
The bottom of the USS Enterprise, the main saucer hull.
It does, kind of. It does. So what this thing is doing here
could be a frisbee.
Yeah. So, it's a Canon A60 this was taken with at Little Marsh Island, Florida. One island.
A60, that's not a digital, is it?
A60, I think it is a digital.
Hey, Google, is the Canon A60 camera a digital camera?
On the website dpreview.com, they say, Canon PowerShot A60, digital photography review.
Yeah.
And it's got to be one of the first digitals, too. We're talking 2004. And, but when you look at this, I mean, you can see this really good. And then if you look at the smoke, I mean, you can see it's bending over and pulling, and it's connecting right here. You can even see where it's hitting.
That's
It's
clear.
being drawn around here. You can see it's hotter here. It's just being drawn around and covering it. But so we see this ship here. It's over a power plant. Maybe it's sucking up power. But wait a minute. There's something else in this picture. There's a UFO right here.
Or two. It could be two.
It could be two separate ones. Yeah,
It looks
it's hard to tell.
bifurcated. It looks like there's a line of white between them.
Yeah, it could be. It could be connected with something, or it could be two. If you look at the tilt and the angle of this thing on, it's moving just like this.
Yeah.
It's going right for the center of this thing.
Well, I wish I could use my mouse. Where your mouse is, don't move it. Oh shit! Put it back.
What? Where? Right here?
Yeah, and then move. Follow the. There's a V, a white line that makes a V right off of that ship. Do you see it?
I see this right here.
Yes. And then there's another part of it right there where your mouse is. It goes out the other way. It makes like a V.
And see, that's the thing.
That could be a way.
So what is that? Because we know this is smoke, and we know this is smoke around here. So is there a smaller stack back here we don't see, or is this something else?
I don't know.
I mean, well, you know what? Let's go back up to the picture.
Now go back up. I think that's an air handler. So there may be some steam coming.
Oh yeah, look right here. It is. So you may be getting
an air handler.
So you're getting that big round gush of air coming out.
Warehouse air handler right there.
So this thing's coming right through it.
Yeah.
Now, why this is going on, people, I don't know. This is Blunt Island, Florida. Of course, this is Marsh Island, but it's actually Blunt Island, Florida. Now, this is an interesting place for a couple of reasons. One, there's a deep water channel right there. There's also a national park and an Agus cruiser base. So some of the pictures taken of UFOs a lot of times show up at national parks or near deep water channels or near military facilities. This has all three, plus a power plant. It has four. So these are four reasons that you might see a craft. You can see the pool soft and cool. Nothing's going on. You don't even see any people out here.
And you don't see a reflection of the object in the pool either, because where it is, where the object should be, the water is disturbed.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, the water's calm. Yeah, right there. Right there's where it is.
Right there. It's even got a center smooth spot in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's so whatever this is giving off physical signs. We don't know what it is, guys. I'm assuming it's some type of mothership because it's picking up a ship. Now, these may look small, but remember, this tower is huge. This is 50-foot, 60-foot tall tower. This isn't a little tiny tower. It's big around.
That might be about the height of the
100,
maybe 155
feet,
feet.
30, 40, 50,
how tall
60. So this building 6 stories.
How tall is the Washington Monument?
The Washington Monument is 555 feet tall.
That's how tall that is.
Yeah, we wouldn't doubt it because this building here is at least 60 or 70 feet tall. So, I mean, you see it nice and clear, guys. I mean, here you can see the picture, but you can see it in a little bit. You can see this thing right here.
Yeah, you can.
It's
still
right
see
there.
The detail of in the saucer section there.
So when you get here, you know you got the nice UFO, you got the nice saucer, you got the smoke, and that's what you got. And all of these are pictures we've taken ourselves. See, this is what do y'all think this is? What do y'all think this is? This is actually what was being taken. What do you think this is?
That's a sundog or
that's exactly what it is. Now this is weird.
That is a streak or a rod. Were you taking video or is that a still?
This actually was on video. All this was on video and clipped to still. So this is actually leaving a trail.
Moving object that left a streak. So whatever it is, the brightest part of that's the object. You see the little. There's a space.
There's a bump. Yeah, there's a space right here.
A space, and then you see where it was. That's something moving very fast through frame of video.
As you can see, this was taken with 35 millimeter film. So I went and talked to the guy who developed it for me, and because I was worried maybe it was one of those rollers had something on it. He said, no, that's not what that is. He said, that's something in the picture. And you can see it looks kind of like a saucer here, but it's hard to tell. This was taken in 2001.
Yeah. It's blob-like.
This one was also taken in 2001. These are in the same location, by the way.
Yeah.
So coming down here,
the same craft.
This is really weird. Now there's a video of this.
Lens flare for sure.
Yeah. Well.
No, you don't.
So what you got here is this is some kind of. At first, I thought this was a triangle watching it coming. Now this is Gulf Breeze.
It's a square. It's a pyramid.
Yeah. This is Navarre Beach, Florida. So I thought it was kind of eye shaped. When this gets up and this gets over and hovers over the runway, it's turning like a circle, like a saucer. It looked like it actually changed shapes as it was moving. Whether it did or whether it did or it didn't, but right here somewhere, which you can't see for some reason, is a conning tower for the Air Force Base. But this thing is actually over Eglin Air Force Base.
Wow.
It's coming. The beach is right here somewhere. The water's right here somewhere. The beach is right here. There's some buildings up in here that are hard to see. And this thing's coming in on a deserted part, coming over. And there's a runway here with nothing around it. And this thing's hovering over that runway. And then what it looked like is somewhere up in here, the runway opened up and this thing just went straight down in it. The runway closed. It was gone.
So it flew out of that air base.
It was coming into the air base to land.
But it probably flew out of it.
I'm thinking, I'm thinking it flew out of there. I'm thinking it flew out of there. Now, there's a videotape of this because this is actually taken off of a television picture where the video was running.
Yeah,
That's
I can see the flash of the camera now.
Yeah, so that's why you're starting to see some of the problems in it. That's why I tell people to ignore a lot of the stuff that's in there because it really has nothing to do. But we have the original videotape of it. And this is an orb. This is a crazy orb.
Yeah, it's in the fence.
So no, actually, it's not. It's about 100 yards from the fence. So right here,
Really?
right here is a it's one of those things. It looks like an observatory, but it's not. It's one of the ones for the radar, but it looks like an observatory. It's kind of mini. This thing's engulfing it. It's completely engulfing it. I don't know if there's any picture or not. That's just people sending us pictures of what they think aliens really look like.
Yeah.
But this is also in Navarre Beach, also taken in 2001. As you can see, we were going down there a lot. We still go down there a lot. See, ladies and gentlemen, if you pay attention, you can see down here 100 feet, 1:15 a.m. in the morning. You want all the details you can get into these as much as you can because, you can post a picture, but a picture don't mean shit without details to it.
It does, yeah. Well, and it's also very important to get a landmark in there, something that is measurable. At that point, if we have that information and it's a legitimate picture, we can tell you how far away that object is, what the diameter of the object is, perhaps even the height of it, depending on the angle you get the picture of. If you're right under the bottom, no, we're not going to tell you how tall it is. But if you get it from the side, we can get you length, width, depth, whatever.
And you'll see
a landmark in there. You can't just be the sky and stars. It could be anything at that. But it could be a speck of dust on your camera for all we know.
Yeah. On this site, there's lots of pages like this. You'll see different pictures. They'll tell you where they're from, when they were taken. I think this is a 2003, 2004 pages older page. That's what that looks like, don't it?
Yeah.
This is over Sussex.
Yeah.
So, every one of these will have a description with them.
Yeah.
This
there
is
are
Netherlands.
very few legitimate Foo Fighter pictures. There are 2 or 3 of them, but
yeah,
that's
there are very few. No, so you just come on here and go on a site and see. This is just a renderance of this.
Yeah.
So, or maybe not. No, that's not. That's not. This is something else. This, by the way, is not an alien craft over here on the right. This is one of ours. This is supposed to be a TR-3B. I'm not sure. This is the Russian one. They say they crashed.
Yeah, crashed.
But look how small it is. It's not hardly even as big as a tank.
Well, it's still some of the diameters are 15.
But as you notice, and I've said this a million times, it didn't break up on impact. It's stuck in.
Well, we don't know what the nose end looks like.
Oh no, there's a picture of the whole damn thing.
Oh.
You can see how it's just stuck in the dirt. It's this. I don't know if this is one object. I think this is multiple objects.
There's several.
Yeah, and then you got this weird thing up here.
Yeah.
Another weird. This is Ed Walters.
It's Ed Walters. Yep.
Yep.
I remember that one.
This is taken by Joseph Ledette, I think is his name, and guy out of Texas.
Does that one show the spheres underneath?
Which one? Oh, this one?
In the middle, yeah. Can you make it bigger? No.
I don't think it's on an open in the way.
Yeah. See, some of the magnifiers are gone.
Oh yeah, see, it's not in there. It had to be
There's
done.
Some more Ed Walters ones down there at the bottom.
Yeah, this is Ed Walters. Ed Walters is the Gulf Breeze experience, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody, I've seen a couple people.
Florida, right?
Yep, Gulf Breeze, Florida. That's where a lot of this other stuff was taken, by the way. These are things, just different things here. Edwards 95. It's Edwards Air Force Base, by the way.
Yeah.
Some kind of weird ride, something coming out of a volcano.
Tic-tac.
It's Oh, we don't have any descriptions. That's weird. I have to kick somebody's ass. Oh, well, no, they did. I can't do that. Anyway, that was just wrong on my part. See, that's that one that we.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whoops, sorry about that. My screen decided to freak out. That's the one we seen on the front side.
With the
Yeah,
black
this
and
is
gray.
this is a typical black triangle. It's probably one of ours. You can see the pilot's head in here. I think this is more over Washington
That's
D.C.
1952 Washington D.C. Washington Post picture.
Yeah, and then I don't know what this blurry crap is.
Yeah,
But
looks like
the reason these are
bad rock
here,
album.
the reason this is here is in these. I think there's I forgot how many pictures there are, but there's 2 fake photos in here. I always put them in to see if anybody's ever going to find them. They never send me the right fake ones, by the way. It's always funny. You're just
My
being me.
friends on Facebook, a lot of the times they'll send me, oh, look at this new video. You tell us if it's fake or not. And within the first second, I'm like, yep, it's fake.
There
Sorry.
was a lot of this in the 50s, whatever this is.
Yeah. Well, that's an artistic rendering. I don't think that's an actual picture, right?
I can't tell. I see cars, looks like 50s models cars down
But
here.
it looks like, yeah, I think that's
It's definitely black and white.
Yeah.
And then
That
you got
one,
another one.
the second, that's from Germany.
Then you got this weird thing down there.
That's a weird one.
This one down here. This one, this was.
That kind of looks like the Roswell craft.
This is the Puerto Rico incident. See the 2 F-14s?
Oh, yeah.
Or they're F-14s. I thought they were F-15s. This, somebody said this might have been ours, but I don't think this was ours. I think this was somebody else's. We were just checking it out. But then here's what looks like it over here leaving the facility.
Mm-hmm. And there's the balls. That's where the certain craft that have the gravity generators. That's where the gravity generators are. The waveguide conduits.
What's that, Dries? No. All of these are on the. So when you heard me earlier say when you heard me earlier say this, the ICAR, the ICAR site's supposed to be one-stop shopping. So we want you to be able to see lots of different things to give you an idea. Yeah, this is Golf Breeze. This is Golf Breeze. This is out of that stupid movie. Well, I don't know what this really is, but it reminds me of that one in the movie where the guy got his hand cut off. Though they were all white looking anyway. Can't think of the name of it. Had a weird spaceship trying to save a planet. They had a gunslinger and a cowboy and man, I know the damn name. This I'm not sure if this is real or fake.
I think it almost looks like the Ed Walters stuff, but it's different.
This Ed Walters over here for sure.
Yeah.
This is more interesting stuff. This is dropping
fake one
something
right there, isn't it? The one with the C.
Which one?
Picture with the C. Is that a fake one?
This one right here.
The one with the C in the corner. It's got a little icon in the corner.
Oh, this one?
No. The one that's got a little icon in.
Hold on, let me find it.
Right there.
Oh, this one right here.
Yes.
It's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be fake.
Yes, but it's just because it's not supposed to be does not mean it's not. So guys, we check sources when we do stuff like this. Now, this is our stuff.
Yep, we were there. We've been there.
Yeah, we've already been on this page.
Go to the ones that are white.
Wait, what is this one?
Oh, yeah. I've looked
this is out of Los Angeles, 2003.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this is supposed to be. Some weird looking lights up there. This is USA, Oregon coast. Do you even see anything on here? Well, these are working fine. Oh yeah, there it is up there. Okay, right there. Okay, I'm not sure what that is, guys. Sorry.
You have to share that screen if it opened up a new screen.
Oh, it didn't open it? Oh, all right. Yeah.
No, if it opened a new screen, you have to go to it's probably another one on your browser.
Oh, yeah, it's letting it come up, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a hell of a name. Wayowega, Wisconsin, in Walpoca County.
Yeah.
Wow, say that 10 times fast.
Yeah. But you see, guys,
to do that, Joe, that's a good thing. Have somebody say that name 10 times fast, and then they win a book.
I know. So we'll give you a book for sure. No, these are all on the site. You can go see Spokane, Washington, Eastern United States, Australia, whatever the hell this is, Canada, Hungary. Canada. See, this is Hungary. This is Moscow. Let's take a look at Moscow. It's hard to tell. Well, that's
And
the
it
point, people. This is not just when you come on this gallery, you're not just seeing,
happens everywhere.
you're seeing how this really is. This is Mexico. This is a volcano in Mexico, actually. This
Mexico's a hot
is
spot for sure.
Switzerland, Australia, Mexico,
Again,
California, New Hampshire. Okay, I'm not sure what the hell this is.
well, they
Geosynchronous
seem
oil
very
and
interested
satellite
in
space.
Popocatépetl, the mountain in Mexico. They've been there very frequently. June 29th, December 19th, late 2000. Oh no, that's not it. Where's the other one? December 23rd.
Oh, it's always good when a satellite gets a UFO. Which that looks
Have
like
you
crap on there.
earlier you brought up the Bob Lazar sport model? Have you seen the picture from the box of I don't have the picture of the box. That part's gone, but the picture on the box of it appears to have a satellite photograph of not Roswell, Area 51, Groom Lake, and S4 Papoose Lake, and there's a UFO flying over the facility.
Really? I don't think I've seen
Very
that.
smart. It's like I think they say it's a Russian photograph, and then there's a it looks almost like the sport model is flying over the desert near Groom Lake. It's not over the facility; it's over the unclaimed desert.
So, see this one, guys. This is actually a video. The guy was taking the video. This is fake, by the way. I just thought I'd tell you that ahead of time. Looks really good, though, don't it? And in the video, it looks pretty good.
You can't see it. You have to present it. Let's change your screen.
Oh, well, we'll have to do this another time because we got to get out of here because I know somebody's going to be getting on our ass in a minute.
49 minutes.
But anyway, guys, it's www.icar1.com. Go over there and check them out for yourself. There's a shitload of them. There's a bunch of other stuff on there. There's also stuff about Betty and Barney Hill. There's stuff about Kathleen Maldron. There's stuff about me personally. There's all kind of stuff. And if you ever want to know anything about me, my own personal experiences, www.alienenigma.org. And the reason why that site exists, that site was put up in 98 or 97. It was put up only for one reason. I posted a couple of my personal experiences there before I ever got into this part of the field, into the public part of the field. And the reason I did is I knew once I went public, sooner or later, hey, Christy, sooner or later, somebody's going to say, oh, you're just riding the bandwagon. You're doing it. Well, no, I actually posted that before I became a public figure. So just thought I'd tell you that. But it is there. And there are pictures of aliens there that are actually drawn by actual contactees. Not renderings, not AI, but actually drawn by contactees. Mm-hmm. But I know we got to get out of here because I got to go hang out with Michelle, harass her and smack her around and stuff. And I'm going to be on her show tomorrow night. Don't forget, I'll be causing all kind of trouble. All kind of trouble. I'm just telling you ahead of time. Because I love her, so I got to cause trouble. But on that note, we got to go. Jay and I'll be back on Friday. Jay, you're off on church, right? You're off now.
I am off till January. Wham and Jeff go a couple more shows, and then 2 weeks they're off. We're all off.
Yeah, because I know Jeff always takes off a couple weeks this time of year. Yeah. Randy, we're talking about Church of Mavis.
Church of Mavis.
Airs before News and Flip Side.
Fridays, right here.
Yes, 7 to 9 p.m. You can check them out. Jeffrey's always causing. Jeffrey cannot help.
That's why I put Church of Mavis Fridays 8-7 Central on the bottom of my name there. Yes, it's always there for y'all.
Jeffrey, oh, you want what you want to see that y'all can't see it? The little pinky, you see how pretty that is. Look.
Oh, you did the pocket square. Good.
Look how cute.
I do too, but my pocket square is more functional. It's not a handkerchief. It's one of those good eyeglass washers. So I spritz my glasses.
What's it?
And use the square.
Actually, Jen, this can be a tux. Actually, it comes with a cumber belt and a different kind of shirt than this one. The one that has my cufflinks, and I wear my cufflinks and all. Yeah, no, I wear this outfit, not this particular one.
French cuffs and French buttons.
Yeah, when you see me at the gala event, that's I'm decked to the nines. No, this was because I had a meeting today early, and I walked in like literally 10 minutes to showtime. So I figured, what the hell? I like to wear a jacket sometimes anyway when I'm doing shows. But we got to go. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and UFO Undercover. Any moans, groans, bitches, gripes, or complaints, please direct those to Michelle DeRoche, courtesy of Michelle DeRoche. And if she slaps you, don't come crying to me. On that note, good night, everybody.
Nice.
And we will see y'all Friday night. Oh, like I said, Friday night we have Thank you, Chris. We have Giovanni Stavino, and we'll be talking about the evil, I believe, is the name of it. And I will post it tomorrow so y'all can see the evil stuff that's going on that show.
Cool.
And then after that, we have some other stuff we're going to be talking about. What's that, Jenny? No. We're not all politically motivated right now. We're pretty much done with election stuff for 2 years, and then
But there's still
we got to
a
do
lot
something.
going on in the world, yeah.
We got some stuff we got to do for the inauguration. And I've been asked if we would do some. Actually, I was asked if Jay and I would do some where you play them losing their mind on election night, and we narrate underneath them playing like you get a speed.
Like
Yeah,
NST3K.
yeah, we may do one of them on News on the Flip Side in a couple of weeks. Yeah, but it's fun to watch. I watched one the other night. I was cracking up. ABC and CBS were losing their mind. But before we leave it, in all fairness, NBC and CNN were keeping straight numbers the whole night. We showed them many, many times. At no point did CNN or MSNBC ever have Kamala winning this election. Of course, ABC and CBS did everything they could. Oh, look, she's up. Yeah, she's up. No bullshit. She's losing. But
this happens and this happens and this happens. She's in. Yeah, right. And pig's eye, maybe.
yeah, and then they would go through like Pittsburgh and go through each thing. Like they went through Georgia and said she's overperforming in these areas. And then they showed the whole board and showed she was down by 18 points. Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. Stop it. Just be honest. But anyway, on that note, we got to go. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and UFO Undercover. Enjoy your life. Have some fun. Remember, this is the holiday season. You're lucky I got no Christmas music in front of me, or guess what? You would be hearing Christmas music. Anyway, we got to go. Be good. Go check out Michelle. She's always a good. Who said that? No, she's always fun to watch. I love Michelle and Amelia. They're some of my favorite hosts. But good night, everybody, and see y'all